Yes.
Oh, that's not on the stream.
I feel like it might be. Hmm. Interesting. Hi guys, we are live. Live. Hi, we're live. Hello. How are you guys? Let's see. Let's see if it'll be nice to us right now. How do I see myself? Oh, we're live. Oh,
How's the audio?
hi. Do. We're live right now. We're live right now. What's up,
Test, test.
guys? Come and see us.
How does the audio sound?
Doing live calls. Hey, if anyone is watching, lot.
Yeah, it's yeah, it's like a weird buzz.
Oh wow. Okay. Hey, if anyone is watching. Oh, okay. Awesome. You know what? We're just gonna put it like this because my hair is looking a little rough. Otherwise, interest. Okay.
It's still there. It's still there.
I
Did
don't.
I unplug it? Yeah. Nope, still there. It's
Vic said you're a bit low. I don't hear myself.
you don't hear yourself?
No.
No. Wait, talk. No, I hear you. Oh, you don't hear yourself on the mic anymore. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys hear us. I just can't hear myself. Okay. Cool.
It's still doing it.
Okay. All right.
Having a little technical difficulties, guys.
Okay. So they can hear us fine.
So you think that buzzing is we can deal with it?
Hi. That's my mother-in-law, guys. Donna. Hi. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys hear the buzzing
Yeah.
noise? I don't know if it's just something that we're hearing in the headphones.
Is the buzzing noise annoying you guys? Can you guys hear it?
Hi. That's my mother-in-law, guys. Donna. Hi. Can you guys hear that feedback? No. Yes. Perhaps. Nope. Okay. No.
No. Anybody?
No, but
Let us know
anybody.
if the buzzing noise is annoying you guys. Did they just disappear? Are they typing?
No. Hello, guys. Can you hear the feedback? Can you hear us? Okay. Vic said no. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We just need to know because we hear it.
Okay.
We didn't know if you guys can hear it. Okay. Awesome. I'm putting my headphones back. This way. Beauteous.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I guess we can. It's weird. I can hear it so loud.
Right? That's so weird. Okay. Nice. Can we lower this light just a little bit?
Oh, the
The
brightness.
brightness, yeah.
The remote. Can I get up?
Sorry, guys. Give us a second. So they can barely hear us.
Let's take off that extra mic. Let's see how that sounds now. Still hear the buzz?
Still hear it. Oh, oh. Let me.
Let me turn down the lights.
Giving me like major. Oh, Sean's here. Hey, guys. We're just kind of setting up still. Sorry. Technical difficulties.
Okay. Yeah. How's it like? Good? A little lower?
A little lower. It looks very like everything looks really washed out on live. Sean's excited. Hi, Sean. Obviously, some of these calls might be pushed back just a couple minutes,
Yeah.
so apologize in advance. I don't think everyone's going to talk for 15 minutes either, so we
I
might
hope
be
not.
good. We might be good.
So they say we sound low?
Yeah. Do we sound? How do we sound? Do we sound
Test.
okay? Can you guys hear us fine? Beautiful. Testing graphic testing. Testing. Yes, Brandon. Brandon is actually my longest known friend. Oh, yeah, this episode is going to be intense. My mother-in-law said barely. What about everyone else? Can anyone else hear us? Can you hear us fine? Is it too low for everyone? Vic said better on his end.
Test.
Hi,
Testing.
thanks for the love, guys.
Test. That was
Testing. Testing.
okay. What about now? Can they hear us better now?
Okay. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Sounds good on mine. Brandon says sounds good on his. Okay. Sean says sounds pretty clean. Okay. Cool. They can hear us.
Okay. All right. So without further ado, I guess we can get started.
All right. Awesome. So we're just going to preface this episode by saying this is going to, we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on right now. So it is going to get a little controversial. Today's episode is going to be focusing on people in the community, some of the things they've experienced, what they've gone through, and their point of view about everything that's kind of going on right now, as well as some insight on some things that we can do to make change. So it is going to be very chocolatey in here, with the exception of a couple people, but definitely down with the cause. So today it's going to be completely live. We're going to be doing live calls from everyone, starting with Khadijah. Khadijah's our first guest. She's a friend of both me and Gil. She was recently in the protests that were going on in Fort Lauderdale. I actually watched her live. It got pretty rowdy at the end, but I'll let her tell her story. So we're going to get into the calls. Thank you, everyone who's here so far. Thank you for joining. Let's see. And I'll let Gail get started with the calls. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that everyone is being notified. Let's see.
Text her right now.
Beautiful. Brandon's already here. Hi, Brandon. Let's see. Okay, beautiful. Charlene. Sorry. Hi, guys. Hello. Okay, let me see. This will work. Boop-a-doop.
Okay, Khadijah's ready. So go ahead and give her a call.
Yep, let's go ahead and give her a call.
All right.
Oh, it's Gil's foot. I gotta track this somewhere.
Hello.
Hi, Khadijah.
Hey.
Hey, Jess. Hey, Gil. How are you guys?
We're
We're good.
great. How are you?
Awesome. I'm great. I'm doing great. Just relaxing at home right now, finally. Enjoying my Sunday.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how have you been feeling lately?
I've been feeling let's see. It's very hard to describe, but I think balanced is the word that I'm gonna go with for right now.
Balance.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been absorbing everything that's been going on, and also trying to deal with things that I'm going through in my personal life and what I have to deal with. But I
Yes.
think I think I'm handling it better, definitely much better than I was last week. So yeah, yeah. I think balance is
And
good.
speaking of last week, you were at the
hmm
protest.
Yeah, yeah. I was at the protest, and it was my first protest that I've ever been to. I don't think I've ever felt more passionate about what's going on than, especially in the days leading up to that. Um, it it
Well,
was. I think.
what
What?
changed?
Go
Like,
ahead.
because I wanted to attend this protest as well. What
Yeah.
made you want to be a part of this protest in particular, knowing that there's been so many different atrocities going on in our
Yeah.
community? What happened?
Yeah.
What about this protest?
So I think it is the perfect storm of everything that's happening in our country right now, and I guess around the world. Of course, with coronavirus and the quarantine and them just constantly pushing things back. And, I understand it, but people are going to get agitated. And so, with that, along with, of course, the current administration that is governing our country right now, quote unquote,
Mm.
um, if that is that and the quarantine with just yet another black man being mercilessly killed by the police,
Whew.
it's just time for something to happen. Something needs to change. There's just been poor handling of everything that's been going on, and that was just the tipping point. That was it. So I just felt like just emboldened to go out there and at least have my voice be heard, and stand with the crowd, boots on the ground, fist in the air, and just saying, I can't breathe, Black Lives Matter, because that, I think that is just a very important thing that everybody needs to say, that Black Lives Matter, so that everybody can hear it and understand it and know what we've been going through the past hundreds of years. So
No,
it's time.
no,
Okay.
It's
So I'm going to ask, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and whether or not you felt like being out there? Did you feel heard? Did you feel safe? What was the energy
hmm,
like out there?
so many things. So as far as the energy, I want to start by saying that it was very peaceful. Everybody seemed to be on one accord. We all were out there for the same purpose, and unfortunately I was surprised that it was so organized. And I don't want to say that in a light way, but um, just the way that it's being portrayed in the media makes it seem like it's just all over the place, it's just rioting and whatever. But anyway, the energy that I felt out there was um, just it shifted. There were ebbs and flows, like from the everyone chanting to someone out there was beating their drum along with the chant. So it's like the energy just reverberated through
Oh,
everybody's
wow.
spirit, and you could really feel that. And that, of course, that was in like the beginning and the middle of the protest. Once everything kind of simmered down and we met back up at Heisinger Plaza. People were on the in the amphitheater doing their speeches, and we were all sitting on the grass, and we were just like, everyone was just kind of like chill. And then the next thing you know, you hear some shouting going on down the street over by the library, by the public library over there, and we're just like, what the hell just happened? So, and this was around 6, maybe 6:15 ish, and that's, I guess, when the protest was supposed to be over. But when we heard like all of this shouting and all of this noise over by the library, we got our stuff up and we went to go see what's going on.
was the
And when
shouting was fear or just like
so this is
excitement?
what happened. What got everybody to go over there was what you guys saw in the news, about the cop pushing that girl over,
Yes.
and everybody was like starting to riot. That's what we heard. It was just nothing but shouting, and this is in the middle of like us being peacefully relaxed on the lawn. All of a sudden, you hear shouting over there. So we all get up, and that's when it got crazy. Is a huge crowd of people started going over there. You see the police line up with their shields. They're already like shooting tear gas and shooting rubber bullets, which are very big. and look like they can take your eye out. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a rubber bullet, but
No, I've
it's
seen the
huge.
damage.
Yeah, so it's just a lot. It was like from the peaceful part to like the mellow part to just like now you can really understand what is happening and how quickly these transitions happen from like peaceful to like riotous. It's like one small incident, the whole energy just immediately shifted.
Yeah.
So I was in the middle of all of that. I was in the middle of the tear gas and in the middle of the rubber bullets and seeing like just seeing so the aggressors. I could see them with my own face. Like if I can go into like one small thing that happened that we discuss here and there, when I saw this white girl spray painting BLM on the side of a building,
No way.
I wanted to attack her.
No.
Like, how could you do this with everything that's going on? And it's just like, wow, you really see with your own eyes these aggressors doing this. And right when I went to attack her, here come the smoke bombs. Here come the rubber bullets. And you don't know what to do. That's what that's what it's doing to your energy. Can you imagine what it would do to your energy out there? So long story short, long story long, it was long, sorry.
Okay.
It's just it was a it was a lot. But all in all, I'm glad I got to experience it, and I'm glad I got to see what everybody's talking about and really see it from a completely different perspective than I thought it was going to be. So yeah, if you're really passionate about something, I encourage a person to attend a protest because I think it's very important for you to see what that means to you, to your cause, and to the people who support it as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's a beautiful
Definitely.
statement. That's beautiful. So
Thanks, guys.
now that
Yeah.
you've been like out there protesting with the people,
Yeah.
what's one piece of advice that you would give to anyone out there who wants to support, maybe doesn't want to protest out of fear of safety, but it's something
Yeah.
that they can do
Yeah.
just from where they're at to educate other people to let them know like
Yeah.
they're part of the cause?
I think, and I know that people have their very important reasons why they couldn't be able to do that, and they can absolutely make their voice heard in different ways. From educating yourself to like reading that important literature that is now being circulated around the media, like from Malcolm X to Asada Shakur, all of that type of reading, I think should be done to kind of help reinvigorate what it is that we're trying to do here, which I think the most thing what we're trying to do is educate everybody so that we can know how best to move forward as a unit. So that, along with supporting Black businesses, slowly pulling your money out of like senseless spending in like these major corporations, because we really don't understand how powerful our dollar is. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so those types of things I think are very important things that we can do in the now to kind of shift where we're going, and just keep everyone passionate about what we're trying to do and what we want to see change with police brutality and police reform, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
education's key.
Yeah.
I think that I agree 100%. Oh,
Man,
wow.
it's really, it takes your breath away when you think about everything that's going on at one time. I don't know what they went through in the 60s, but right now for me it feels like I feel each day a little heavier now because of this, like I said, perfect storm that we're going through.
Well,
It's like,
the difference between
yeah.
the '60s is that it wasn't so widespread. I believe in the '60s it was just in LA, right? The LA riots. So it's just in one specific area. Now we have the internet, so you have people in India and Asian countries protesting. You had K-pop Korean artists protesting, and you have the whole world, aligning with with one cause.
Yeah.
So it's
Absolutely.
really huge.
It's huge. And I'm glad people are using social media for this cause, because I didn't want to just discount social media. I feel like a lot of people were doing that and really undermining the power that can be had through a single post. So
that's
I
why
think it's very
I was
important.
really confused about. I mean, I was really on board with the Blackout Monday.
The
What it was
Blackout
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Blackout Tuesday. But then when I realized, wait, we can't stop posting today.
Yeah.
We need to be loud. There's no time to take a break. And I was really disappointed in a lot of people because I was one of those people that I'm just gonna black out and not do anything. But then after I stopped and reflect, this is not a time to like stop and like not do anything. We have to be loud.
Well, the purpose of Blackout Tuesday was for not to post, but it was for us to take that time to reflect. So like I think that was the day that also Rihanna shut down. She wouldn't allow anyone to buy from her 3 companies. So it wasn't to not do anything. It was to use that time instead of just reposting and going online and watching videos. It was ways for you to reflect, for you to find resources, for you to
That's how I took it as well. And I know, I guess the music industry or whatever had their own, or they kind of started their own blackout or what it was supposed to be. But what I took from it was just that, like, I paused from, constantly reposting and basically kind of went back and took in the other posts from people who I know are sharing important things that I might have missed in my own posting. So that's just, what my takeaway from that blackout, from Tuesday's blackout. So, but all of it, I think it's very important that we are having the conversation, that you guys are starting the conversation and encouraging, people in your circle to talk about this. I think the more we talk about it, the more that energy is going to kind of keep flowing through all of us. So thank you guys. Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. We really, we love hearing from you guys. Number one, period.
Pool.
But guys, thank you.
All right, talk to y'all later. All right, bye.
That was great.
It was great. Sorry, really quickly, can you send me the YouTube link, because a lot of people are still having trouble using the other link getting in. So I need the YouTube link for one. Sorry guys, we had a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, so the call is going to be pushed back a few minutes. But we're trying to get you guys in order, because I try to schedule when I could I know certain people needed to call at certain times, so we're going to keep pushing with the calls, get more people in here. But yeah, sorry, give us just a second. I'm not being rude. I don't want you guys to think I'm being rude. It literally just, I'm like, people are like, hey, where's the link? It's not here.
If you guys follow me on Twitter, I also have the link being live streamed as well. If you follow, I'm gonna send the link I'm gonna retweet it so you guys can see it.
Let's see. All right, perfect. Sorry, I'm sending out the links to everyone, so we can make sure everyone's on the same page. Okay. Perfect. 1 second. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel so rude right now. Okay, awesome.
We need to hire somebody just to like do all this.
Who wants to be our tech person? Who wants to be our tech person? Like, set everything up. Awesome. Okay, sorry. We're just sending the links out. Thank you again, Khadijah. I totally appreciate you coming on here. You my dog. All right, sorry. Cool. All right, just want to update everyone. Awesome. Jake read my message.
Is in here?
Read my message. I'm sending it to him. You gonna watch this. You hear me? You gonna watch this. Sorry, I'm just sending the link to my manager, who I love, who's also my friend. Hey, girl. Okay, hold on. Cool. All right, and we're moving along with the phone calls. All right, so the next one is going to we're gonna switch them around. Let's do Rico next, and then we'll do Marvel, just because I know Rico has an actual life. Okay. Not that Marvel doesn't have a life, but Rico has a short. He has like 20 minutes to talk, so we can't push him back.
Okay.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get Rico on there.
All right.
So I don't know. Hey Rico. Let me see. I don't know if he's in the thing already. Sorry guys.
You want to text him, see if he's ready?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go ahead. Let's see. Go. Send him the link again, and I'm just letting him know that we're calling right now. Okay, cool. All right, so everyone's on the same page. Cool. Let them know we're calling. We're calling you right now, Rico. Welcome to the podcast. All right. Thank you so much for everyone who's watching on Facebook. Sorry, I didn't want to say hi in the middle of someone talking, but hi. Thank you guys. Thank you for everyone who stopped in, even for a second. We really appreciate it.
All right.
Yeah. So
calling Rico.
Go ahead. We're gonna call Rico.
Hey, how's it going, Rico? This is Gil.
Hey, Rico.
What's popping, guys? What's popping?
What's popping? How you doing today? How's everything? How's the wife?
All is well. All is well. Just trying to build some baby furniture and get ready for a newborn daughter in about a month or so.
Oh my gosh! I feel like I just found out your wife was pregnant, and now you're. Oh my gosh! That's so exciting. Stop it.
Wow. I'm fly so fast.
It does. Okay, so a little bit about Rico really quickly. So Rico's a longtime friend of mine. I've known him for like 15 years, I think. Rico is also the founder of Tribe X, which is a clothing brand aimed at bringing more awareness to minorities in this beautiful country. I guess not so beautiful right now, but definitely it's gonna get. We're working on it. We're working on it. But yeah, so Rico is a Black business owner. I'd say, for at least from where I'm standing, pretty successful so far. We got his shirt
on the screen right here.
Yes. So this is a piece that he just put out. It's still available for pre-order, right? The shirt that you just put out.
Still taking pre-orders, and we're just trying to, do our part and raise some money for the families of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd, and I figured it'll be a good thing to do. So that's pre-orders are still available, and get on there while you can, and we'll raise as much money as we can.
Awesome. Okay. So proceeds from this shirt here. When you go to make the purchase, me and Gil already bought ours yesterday. When you go ahead and buy this shirt here, you can select whether or not you want to donate your proceeds to either George Floyd's memorial or to Breonna Taylor. I sent mine over to Breonna Taylor. Yeah. I feel like not like George.
I did too.
Both are sad, yeah, but I think that since George Floyd is kind of on the forefront right now, not that people forgot about Breonna Taylor, but I think people are kind of like just starting to shift that way.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, so I sent my funds that way, and so send wherever you want to send, but definitely I think the George Floyd one's been kind of overwhelmed.
I saw what you posted. And did you text it to me? The post where people like replying to racist comments online and trying to correct them. But you said instead of doing that, how about you send your dollars?
Yes, send your dollars. Talk with your wallets.
Very important.
Yeah.
Talk with your wallets. Do that instead. So this is still available for pre-order. This shirt I think is super powerful. I think we need to stop being apologetic about the stances that we have. And even though this might be a little bit offensive to some, I think a lot of people need to see things like this to open up the discussion. So I'm going to stop talking during Rico's time. I'm going to.
It's all good. It's all good.
So Rico, tell us a little bit about Tribe X, kind of the mission behind it and why you created some of the pieces that you did and what it means to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, the brand is just kind of social commentary on America as a whole. I really just tried to hone in on a couple of pillars that I think have divided mankind, especially in America, over like the last, however long America has been around. My math isn't that great right now, but but basically, we're focusing on race, religion, and economics. And I mean, obviously we're going through, some racial things right now that are really at the forefront. But, obviously religion has, divided people, whether you're Christian, Muslim, atheist, whatever. There's been wars and a lot of, religious persecution. And then, when it comes to the economic side, we live in a classism, type of society where the rich get richer, the poor, don't get a doggone thing, as people say. So it's really just like the name itself is, we're tribal in nature. So, poor people tend to stick around or hang around poor people. Rich people stick around rich people. Christians hang with Christians. black people with black people, so forth and so on. So, I mean, ultimately, it's just a social commentary, and I just want to make some provocative pieces. Um, Not all of them are going to probably be as provocative as this T-shirt that we just put out yesterday. Actually, did a collaboration with one of my good friends from college. He actually is a footwear designer out in Oregon, but we worked together, put together the T-shirt, and think it's going to be a profound piece to make people, question what's going on in society. Black people aren't necessarily being hung from ropes or from trees nowadays, but we've seen the video that's been circulated time and time again, and I think lynching is not restricted to just someone being hung from a tree or dragged from a truck like back in the day in the 60s and before that. People are still getting killed in whether it's a shooting or whether it's suffocation by knee, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just trying to bring awareness to that. And we want to use our platform. I have a baby. I can't be out in the street protesting necessarily. So I'm going to use this as my way. And I think everybody.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. I think everybody can, you don't necessarily have to be out in the streets. I think we need everyone, just kind of using your platform like you guys are. You guys don't necessarily have to be out in the streets, but by having this, platform for people like myself and others to speak, I'm going to use my clothing brand to speak on the subject matter. So we're going to need people out in the street. We're going to need people online tweeting or posting. Yeah. We're going to need professionals to get legislation passed, so forth and so on. So everybody, I've been saying this over the last couple of weeks. The Chicago Bulls didn't have 5 Michael Jordans. They had a Scottie Pippen, the assist. They had a Dennis Rodman, the rebound. So everybody just needs to play their role and contribute in whatever way they can and use their platform that God has given them to, let their voice be heard. So
beautiful. Okay, beautiful. That was nice. Well. I couldn't have came up with that. So, what do you want to say to everyone out there? Kind of just going through it right now. Does it know how to feel? What's happening? What's just a word that you want to give out to the people right now?
That's a good question. I'm no politician, so I can't really tell people how to feel. I think even amongst black people, I'm black, but I can't speak for the whole, race necessarily. But, I think this is a big moment in history for us. I've been telling my friends and everyone that, I actually had 3 of my Caucasian coworkers reach out to me consecutive days last week, as things were beginning. And I was like, man, it's been a lot of, black kids and black men, women have gotten killed in the past, but I've never had, white folks reach out to me. So I was like, what's going on here? But
it's an awakening.
Yeah, exactly. And they really just asked me. They were like, Rico, what can I do as a white person to help the cause? And I was just like, yo, just use your voice, man. You don't have to, bombard people with social media posts or whatever, but your friend group is going to be a lot more white than mine. Yep. That's just how, tribalism works. So if you see something or hear something that's out of line, that's your opportunity to jump in and interject, and kind of relay the information that myself and other black people are spreading to, hopefully educate those people. But as far as, how people should react, everybody deals with grief in their own way. And I think, the protest and ultimately rioting and looting are results of, hundreds of years of oppression. And that's going to be one way for people to release that energy. And, other people are going to, post. So I just think everybody has to find their way, to release some of that anger and aggression. And hopefully it doesn't get violent, but, it is what it is.
Exactly, yeah. Awesome. Well,
That's
thank you
good.
so much, Rico. I'm going to go ahead and after this episode is finished, I'm going to put in some of the links to your socials where they can find the shirt, the rest of your clothing. But really quickly for the people that are listening live, can you give us your socials for your clothing brand, for yourself if you like, and where they can find this shirt that's on pre-order right now?
Yeah, absolutely. The shirt is still available for pre-order. They should be shipping out in a couple weeks, so just bear with us. But the website is Tribe X by Rico, and that's Tribe spelled the traditional way, X just like the letter, by B-Y, Rico, RICO.com. And you can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook at The Tribe X Brand. And then my personal one is the Suave one. That's just because I think I'm kind of cool, but you guys may not. But yeah, that's the Suave one all together, and that's one spelled out ONE. So yeah, just check us out, and look forward to putting out more thought-provoking pieces. And if you like the T-shirt, feel free to get that. And like I said, 100% of proceeds are going to be donated. So I'm not making any money personally off of this, just trying to get the word out.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Rico. We're going to go ahead and let you go to your gorgeous wife. His wife is beautiful, y'all. If y'all check out his social, you'll see her. But we're going to let you go. Yeah, it's good talking to you. We'll see you soon.
Likewise.
All right. Bye.
All right, guys. Bye.
That was good.
That was great.
Talking to him made me realize something about the racism. There's the covert racism, one that's like hidden behind, like legislations and redlining where people can live and job opportunities. Then there's the racism that we hear in the news where the kneeling and the shootings, and that happens a lot. It happens a lot, but I feel like there's a lot more covert racism in the world that we need to like discuss. And I feel like this whole police brutality is making that come to light.
Absolutely. I don't know. Do you feel like legislative stuff is covert? Because I feel like it's blatant. I feel like it's very blatant. Like, I feel like redlining is so blatant just to say, hey, if you live here, ultimately your kids are going to get, less funding in their schools, or we're not going to give you funding to get a home. And I don't know. I feel like it's less covert now because we're given the information back rather than back then when they thought they were getting away with it. I don't know. I mean, I guess I know what you're saying as far as like no one's screaming the N-word at the bank when you're applying for a loan. I was thinking about
you when I was listening to the latest Joe Rogan podcast with Reggie Watts. He's like a comedian. He's biracial. His mom is French, not French Canadian, but from France, and his dad is black.
Okay.
And he was born like on base somewhere, so he had to get his citizenship and all that other bull crap. But at the time that he was born, his mom and his dad relationship was illegal for them to get married. So that's something that was like in legislation. Like, hey, if you're Caucasian and you're black, you can't get married. And that was in law. Okay. But we still have laws like that now, like the redlining, even like jobs. Like they keep adding more requirements for X amount of jobs. And hey, you have to live here X amount of years to get this house or get this apartment. So there's always laws and rules, and I feel like they're covert, but in a way they're just like blatant.
Yeah, I feel like they're blatant.
Yeah.
At least to me. At least to me.
So who else is on the call list now?
Marvel.
Let me just call. Let's see, Marvel.
You're not getting a warning, Marvel.
No, I'm just gonna call him.
You won't get this love. Awesome. Cool.
I almost called Marvin.
Correct. Sean said it's covert to anyone that ain't black.
Ooh.
Yes. Damn, Sean, that was a good one. I love it.
I forgot we were live for a second.
Right.
I was like, wait, what is he talking? How did he know?
Hello.
What's going on, Marvel? You're on the podcast, buddy.
How you doing? I was about to be petty. I was like, you know what? I know you guys are talking about me. I said, should I answer or should I not answer? I was like, you know what? I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? You guys are like 30 minutes late. But I'm also a podcaster, too, so I completely understand the overlapping and how this time just get away from y'all. Sure. How y'all doing?
We're good, man.
Good.
You?
How you doing?
I'm all right, man. I'm better today than I was about a week ago, honestly. But it is what it is. Appreciate you guys for having me.
Of course, of course. So, how have you been? How have you been feeling? What's been going on?
Um, Honestly, I have been feeling, uh, I guess, a level of like heaviness,
Mm-hmm. For sure.
a level of not really knowing um, what is pretty much going to be next as far as like the current events right now, as far as what can be pretty much the future, for future. I mean, if 2020 can't get any worse,
Oh my
like,
Yeah.
God, yes.
I'm just scared for
um,
hurricane season.
so like this is not exactly how I feel now. Now, okay, first of all, um, I obviously I know Gil, but Miss, what's your name?
Jessica.
Jessica.
Jess. Okay, Miss Jess, are you an anime fan?
Yes, but I watch
Okay.
shojo, so please
Okay,
be kind.
so okay, Gil, you watched like for the most part, like the Dragon Ball Z video, the
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z movies back in the day, right?
Yeah.
You see Metacool, you said he beat the first Metacooler, and they thought it was done, and then afterwards they look up and it was tired as F.
Yeah.
And wait, can I curse?
I got a better example.
Bro, that's exactly how
No, no,
I
no,
feel.
no.
Where I look up all the
Do you remember?
fucking Metacoolers,
Do you remember
and I'm
when?
like, yo, you have got to be kidding me. Like,
Do you remember when Sasuke was fighting Itachi,
yes.
and then Sasuke had him pinned down to the ground? Is like, I win, you're dead. And then Itachi's clone dead body points and says, no, look over there. And Itachi had him in a genjutsu the whole time. This is what this is right now.
This is
Yeah,
beyond
man,
me
that
right
that's
now.
that's really
We're being
That's really-
punked, bro.
yeah, that's really how I feel right now, man. I mean, it's like first Kobe died, then the pandemic
hard.
happened.
That hit me
Then-
hard, bro.
Then yeah, same here. You know what I'm saying? Mortar Harness came in, grand opening, grand closing. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't even know what the hell that's gonna be pretty much about. And then now we have this. And to be honest, to be a person, that is black, a black man that is a businessman and
Yeah.
that is pretty much woke, I would say, in this climate, been woke honestly for the past maybe 10 years. It's kind of torn. It's kind of like a tearing feeling because it's like while I do support the looting and I do support the violence to some extent.
Yeah.
It's like how can I support that when I'm also a businessman as well too?
Yeah.
So yeah,
how do you explain that though? Because I understand it, and I'm sure Jessica understands it, but for the people that are listening who might not be for the cause or might be for the cause and don't understand, how do you support the looting? Because I support it in the sense that we're kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired and being heard. So if this is the way that we need to be heard, that's what the people have to do.
If you look at it in a stand of, first of all, if point blank period, we learned it from y'all.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like we learned everything from y'all. We learned looting. We've learned violence. We've learned all these actions. Natively speaking, as a black people, we are not a violent race. We are not a violent people whatsoever. But everything that's pretty much happened for
deep.
the last
Hey.
400, 500 years.
Whew.
And I'm sorry for kind of like preaching right now, but Gil knows how I give it up.
Last name Bishop though.
Preach.
So it's like what do you expect? And plus two, you pretty much stripped everybody of their rights to pretty much work, and there's over 40 million people that have been unemployed, and not to mention all the unemployed people and the people that don't have a job and don't even work for maybe less than freaking for $7 an hour even before this pandemic. It's like, what do you expect? And at the end of the day, how I look at it as it's a form of casualty in war.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Whew.
It's and then honestly, for one way to it's just really funny how white people, and when I say white people, right? Because I have white friends, I have, you know what I'm saying? The white people who I'm talking about is the Caucasian people. I'm talking about the white people from Mount Caucasus.
Yeah.
That's those are the people that I'm talking about. Those are the people that had the evil mindset and that, you know, cannibalism pretty much came from and all that. I'm talking about that type of white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not talking about the Polish people. I'm not talking about the town people. I'm not. I'm
hard white.
Yeah. It's. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about that specific. It's just when we. It's like when we get to a certain point, man. It's just tough. It's just really, really tough to you know, to pretty much. I just don't understand how, for a people that is the most educated, quote unquote, which is white people, we have to educate them on this.
Can we change the name of this episode to "We Learned It from Y'all"?
Damn. Yeah.
I want to get that tattooed. I want to get that
listen,
tattooed on myself.
Look, it's all. Listen, this is not a reaction. This is a response. There's a plain difference between those two. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know, it's a response at the end of the day. And what do you value more than life itself? It's properties, it's companies, it's all that, and pretty much a bag of chips. Honestly, you know, it's that is your life form. You know, you don't care when we lose lives.
No.
You care when you lose businesses, when you lose money. See, here's the thing too. Martin Luther King, he got assassinated, right? I believe. What year was that?
Oh, 60
you guys look that up?
Mid-60s, yes.
Yeah, mid-60s, right? Okay, so people tell me that was the reason why that we had like a lot of change, because of Martin Luther King.
1968.
1968, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, God rest his soul, but Martin Luther King was not the reason why we had the civil rights activist movement. It's because of the response of the assassination of the reason why. When we started going crazy, looting, over 1,000 cities started rioting, over $47 million.
It's like 180 days or something like that.
Say what?
I remember how many days it was.
Yeah, like that was in response to that. Like, oh shit, like these niggas ain't playing. You know what? So what do you expect? I've been going through wars on Facebook and on talking to people about this whole thing, and it's like, while I don't condone, you know, the violence, you know what I'm saying? Like, I do understand it. And what people need to understand is this, and this is kind of like a general consensus been going on. Listen, at the end of the day, like, we want equality. Like, you better be lucky that we don't fucking want revenge. Like, that's a whole fact. Because if we wanted revenge, this would be a whole different story.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was deep.
I wish I had a towel so I could just throw it in.
Yeah.
And we ain't calling nobody else. I'm kidding. That's it.
Yeah.
Whew, that's energy.
And this is coming from a person that, you know,
who owns a business, who works with
that
white
owns
people.
4 businesses, like that is invested in, like, you know, other ventures, and, you know, that runs companies. You know, I would say this too, and I've told this many different times. Yes, it's very sad that, you know, even my own people that have lost their businesses, you know, that's very, very sad. Don't get it twisted. But what people need to understand is 2 things. Number 1, it's really funny how people want to look at the people that's looting and taking all these like stuff and taking all these properties and all these items, but we're not really looking at what was the real looting that happened about 3 months ago, when they took $500 billion away from us and pretty much gave it to the large companies and large corporations. We're not talking about that.
Yeah. Shit.
We're not talking about that looting.
Yikes.
We ain't talking about that.
Wow.
And then guess what? Here's another
real.
too. I would say as well too, as a black businessman, a businessman that employs over 30 people, that, you know, like, well, you know, now because of the pandemic, you know, I'm definitely building back up, but, you know, that's another story for another day. I will lose my fucking businesses 10,000 times over if that means that I'm able to save a race, or I'm able to save lives in the future. If I have to burn down my own business or any other business 10,000 over to make sure that more innocent lives do not get taken by the system, then so be it.
I love that. I love that. I've had a lot of people, white and black, losing business, getting looted, and a lot of them are feeling the same way. They're like, hey, listen, you know, I have insurance, I can rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
Or listen, you know, if this means that this is going to incite some real change in this nation, take it all.
Yeah.
Take it all, honestly.
You can't take back life.
No,
you can. You have insurance. There ain't no insurance on life. There's no insurance on losing your life.
Nope.
That was deep, man.
What do you get? What do you get? That's the thing. What do you get when you have life insurance, right? When, God forbid, somebody dies, you get back. You get money, right? Do you get back their fucking life? No, you don't.
You do not.
So where do we put the value in things? Where does America put the value on things? That's the real question. And plus, when it comes to the Boston Tea Party and all that, don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, that was looting.
Like, we learned it from y'all.
Rape and pillage.
Mm-hmm.
We learned it from y'all, you know. And I know a lot of people. And then here's the thing I'm really torn on too, is the whole, you know, I guess I have a lot of friends. And I have like one particular person that is actually my great friend that is of the law enforcement. And, you know, I hope that he's okay. I really, you know what I'm saying? But I just, that right there is honestly where I'm torn as such, because, you know, that's why for me, I haven't protested, but, you know, me, like, you know, Gil knows, you know, like I pretty much spread my influence, you know, just like how you guys are doing with my podcast, and, you know, in other ways. Yeah. So
which is the Lab Series podcast, by the way.
Excuse me?
No, which is your podcast, the Lab Series podcast.
Lab podcast series. Yes, thank you. And you know, it's tough, man. It really is. It's just and if people want to bring up. When it comes to police, we're talking about not necessarily. People say, "Oh, what about the black police?" But you gotta understand, the black police, the people who are black, they're on that other side.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're on pretty much the other side, so it's tough to I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know how they freaking do it.
Don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
There was a woman, I don't know if you guys saw the video, where a white cop shoved someone and the black female officer told him to go back, like to stand back, and she was yelling at him like, you don't do that.
Yeah,
you don't touch them like that, you know? So it's like, you know, you don't have to shoot another officer for doing something bad. But if you see something, say something. Like, don't make an example to everyone else. Like, I'm not going to sit back and allow
you guys
to
do know that it's actually in the law, right? It's actually of the law to react in a physical manner if police are unjustifiably doing things to civilians.
A human reaction. It shouldn't even be a law. It should just be.
No. It is a human reaction, which. I mean, it is a human reaction, but you do know what the bystander law is, right? I mean, the bystander, the bystander syndrome, where like it's a psychological kind of like effect where when people see something that's tragic, they sometimes get frozen in time, and they have to pick between. It's kind of like a fight or flight thing. They pick between either recording it or do something, but people always pick, I guess, recording it because that's more of a better. See, that's another thing too. Like, listen, I don't know how much time you guys have, honestly. So I'm not really trying to ramble, whatever. But like, that's another thing too. Like, people always get on people when like, oh man, how come you didn't do anything when you when you were there? You just recorded. But here's the thing: you really look at it. If the people that were there, right, in Minneapolis, right, that was recording George Floyd, if all of them would have said, fuck it, I'm not going to record, I'm actually going to help, would we have the type of justice, or I guess the process of justice that we would be having now?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's a really tough decision. You got to have some type of empathy with that, because it's like, okay, if I just record, I'm not helping that person, but then maybe, hopefully, I can put this on the internet so it can save another life. Or if I don't do anything, and I try to save that life right then and there, not only that, maybe I won't even save his life, but I'm going to also put my life in danger. And nobody else is going to know about it because nobody else is recording. So it's like that psychological warfare that you have with yourself in that moment is very, very, very heavy.
Yeah. Damn, I agree.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of good points made. People are in these comments like, who is this guy?
Wait, what?
Preach.
Me?
Preach.
Where, on Facebook?
Yes, on Facebook. So yeah, you made a lot of really good points today. I have to agree with pretty much everything that you said. I mean, honestly, I can't argue with any of it. But yeah, people really have to understand that, this is being highlighted now. And a lot of people are kind of like, oh, you guys are upset because this is always happening. It's always happening all the time. And it's so sad that we have to lose lives, period. But if this is what has to happen, like, I hope Brianna, George, and the others understand that their lives were not lost in vain. Like, we're going to make change so that this is, I don't think anything's going to happen right now to where this never happens again, because even daily we're getting stories about this continuing to happen. But hopefully it's definitely a lot less, and we implement some real change.
So I guess to kind of like just, I know we're over like the 15 minutes, but I guess I had like, kind of one thing I wanted to say real quick is, and I'm going to be like completely honest with you guys, the change that we're looking at right now, unfortunately, it is not going to happen in our lifetime. It's not going to happen in your children's lifetime, and maybe even before then. Yeah. However, that does not mean that we need to not do what we need to do, not only against the system, but also internally too.
Yeah.
One of the things that I challenge, my people of color, my Black people, is to not only get educated of the system, but also get educated of yourself. Get educated of your Black, your Black history. If you haven't looked at a documentary or a type of show, it's called Hidden Colors.
That's
something, you already know what time it is.
Tariq
yeah, man, we talked about the Moors and all that. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I mean, for the most part,
I've seen all 5.
Yeah. So you can definitely learn from that. Also, too, the same people that I know who are talking about Black Lives Matter and that is pretty much fighting for the cause. It wasn't really fighting for the cause before then, but that's okay. But they're fighting for the cause now. But here's the thing: how you can internally fight for the cause is to buy Black. At the end of the day, that's something that we have to do within our communities, and that's the one thing that we can control within our communities is to encourage each other to pretty much not necessarily. Because here's the thing: you can't tell me that we don't have money. It's not necessarily that we don't have money. It's just that we don't spend our money where it's supposed to be necessary.
We don't have a unified front.
It's not even just a unified front. Listen, if 10 people, right? If you, me, Jess, and all the other people, right, that's in these comments right now, except for buying Tide, buy a Black-owned large detergent company. Except for buying Fruit of the Loom, you buy a Black-owned underwear company. Yeah. That is one of the little things that you can do to really shape the culture.
That's
to really,
crazy.
Yeah, man, it really is. And
let's do it, man. Let's find a Black-owned company that we
Tribe
can.
X by Rico.
Tribe X.
Tribe X.
Yeah, Tribe X. Yeah, I heard
buy a shirt.
Yeah, Tribe X. You know what I'm saying? Also, too, I will say this. One of the companies that I have is the Bishop Group, which is it's consulting and branding agency where I help people with social media. I help people with pretty much all walks of trades. If they need something, if I can't do it, then I pretty much refer to anybody else that can definitely help them with the services. But if anybody that wants to pretty much start a business or take their business to the next level, please contact me. My regular Instagram is Marvel Bishop, but then also my branding company is also called the Bishop Group. And
for anybody confused, I know my boy Sean is going to be like, well, his name's not Marvel Bishop.
My name is Marvel Bishop. Yes, verbatim. verbatim. That is my yes. That is my name. Okay, like on my birth certificate. Like, and that's just, you know, for me, just because, like, for me, here's the thing, I am pledging a lot of my time right now that people that don't really have the, I guess maybe the knowledge or maybe like the foresight on how to properly brand their company, I want them to help them so they can pretty much give them a fighting chance so they can pretty much prosper in their business. Gil, you know what I'm saying? You're like one of my best testimonies. Well, the first time we met, what did I do?
We had a consultation.
Yeah, and then what happened? I helped you change up your whole entire scope.
Yep. Yeah, literally the podcast name, the podcast cover, the podcast location, the backdrop, a lot of the things that I have done as a content creator stemmed from my conversations with Marvel. And legit, like we did the interview and you're like, no, we're not doing this in here. We're going to do it in your living room. I'm like, what? You know, just those stuff like that. They help. And that I even started consulting because of our consultation.
Yeah, man. And that's where it's at. That's what that is. You know, at the end of the day, iron sharpens iron, man.
Yeah.
And just because, and that's what pretty much I'm giving out and helping the other, especially other Black-owned businesses as well too, to help them shape and to help them, build their brand as well too and help their business out. So I know I took out way more of your time. I do apologize. I know. I feel just kind of like cringing a little bit. Oh, we gotta go to the next guest. Oh, we gotta go. You know what I'm saying? So
they'll be fine. I hope.
They're all like, you told me 6:30. No, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
We got to get you in the studio soon, though.
Yeah, man. Anytime you guys are ready for a one-on-one interview or one-on-two interview, you know what I'm saying? I'm down. I mean, you know, we can interview each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind, you know, having you guys coming on, you know, Convos with Bishop, my one-on-one, platform as well too. So I mean, I think I already shouted out my stuff already. Follow me on Instagram at Marvel Bishop, my consulting and branding company at The Bishop Group, and also too on YouTube, Marvel Bishop TV. We have Convos with Bishop, where I have one-on-ones, the Lab podcast series, where we have really cool gents, where we talked about culture, life, guide talk, pretty much entertainment, music, sports, everything in between. I mean, that's it. You can find some other things too, like my gaming channel on YouTube as well. And honestly, before I leave, how long did it take you guys to really time that culture theory? Like, don't do it now. Don't do it now because it's kind of freaky. It's kind of freaky. Like, no, I'm talking about when you guys like time yourself to say culture theory.
How long did it take?
Oh my God, this is our culture theory thing.
That was from 2016. We just said it together at the same time too. Yeah.
Oh, hey guys, this is Jess.
Crazy. And this is Gil.
And welcome to
Culture Theory.
Yeah.
Hey man, that is amazing. For real. That's dope. Now, God, listen, Jess, Gil, love you guys definitely. Thank you so much for having me. It's definitely been an honor.
Yes.
And I hope I definitely brought you guys some value in your viewership.
Oh, you lit up the comment section.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you for that.
Well, please send me the link to that comment section.
I'm gonna post it on my Facebook, so go on my Facebook right now.
Absolutely.
I got you, bro. All right, man. I love guys.
All right.
Have a good one.
That was dope. That was crazy.
Dope. All right. Sorry, guys. Pushing it back. We're calling Vanessa later, but she's like, I'm waiting. I'm so sorry.
So who's next?
So next we have Sean and Shantae.
I'm going to just call them right.
One of my favorite.
So we're calling Shantae or Sean?
Shantae. We're calling Shantae.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, I said you Shantae. I mean, they're one. You get married, you just one now.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Shantae. How you doing?
Good. Hold on. Let me put you on speaker.
Okay.
How are you guys?
Good. Is Sean with you as well?
Yeah.
I love you guys.
What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Nothing much. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good. How have you guys been doing this week? How you feeling?
That's the question.
Wild.
I I think we're on the better side of this week. We didn't start off this week that great, but I think we're getting a little better each day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been seeing Sean on social just like
Man.
shutting people down. How has
Man.
that been?
Bro, it's
Can we talk about that? Are you good to talk about that now?
yeah, I am. I mean, kind of like Marvel. I'm definitely in a better headspace today than I was about a week ago or earlier this week. And if you know me, I'm super chill, bro. I'm non-confrontational, but it's just something about all this where it's like, yo, I will not have this. We will not have this all.
No.
Like just shutting down everything that was coming my way is like, no, Satan, I rebuke you. I don't got time for it today.
Absolutely, yeah. Me and my husband are friends with Sean, and I was just sitting on the couch, and he's like, "Yo, Sean's going in," and I was like, "What's Sean?
Yeah.
What's Sean? Like, nah."
I didn't see that. I just saw your tweet on Twitter, like, not today or something like that.
Yeah.
What was happening? What was happening?
Man, so much. So first, basically, someone commented on a post, and I don't even, at this point, I don't even remember what the post was about, aside from probably Black Lives Matter. And then someone hopped in my comments and was just like, "Well, looting," and I was like, "Let me stop you right there." And from there on, I've kind of just been going just like in different comment sections, and just going off on people like, "Bro, like you don't get it. You're a part of the problem. Nah, don't even talk about it. Just keep your mouth closed."
Yeah. This is definitely the time of, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Like this should be a perfect example of that. I know it sounds childish, but really right now, if you don't have anything nice to say, or if you're going to say something that's insensitive, or definitely, oh my God, the racist stuff that's been coming, it's just like, please, just why?
Did you guys hear about the Detroit popcorn company?
No, I don't think we have.
So I'm gonna post a picture of it right now, and pretty much what happened was this company the owner of the company decided to comment on a Facebook page and say that now you wonder why police put their knees on their necks.
Yikes.
Oh, here it goes right here. I got the post right up here on the screen. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says they wonder why they need knees on their necks. And this was a company in Detroit.
They didn't spell knees or there right.
Yeah. So guy, his name is Evan, and the original owner who sold him the company called him and said, "I need you to resign. You're no longer the company, and I'm going to sell this company to a person of color."
Ooh.
And this company is like 97 years old.
Oh wow.
So that's telling. The owner of the company, the previous owner, has more sense than you, and it's weird. Like, this guy's a younger dude, it's Evans.
Yeah.
So it's very sad. Like, it's a lot of companies, a lot of things coming to light. Like even Adidas. There's a designer who works for Adidas, and she was talking about how she would report racist remarks and racist tension inside her facility, and human resources will just say, "Oh, it's nothing. You're just overreacting."
Yeah.
So it's so many stories, and that's what I was talking about when Marvel was talking about not Marvel, but Rico mentioned racism and like the major racism and like killings and shootings. And I was thinking to myself, what about the covert racism? What about the racism that's in the workplace that happens every single day? But you can't really shout it out because it's hidden.
Yeah, and I think the scary part about all of this is like, I don't know, like as I talk to people online, because I try my best to protect my peace as much as I can, because I can't function. Like, I still go to work every day. I've worked through COVID. Like, going online and realizing as people come out and say their truth, realizing like they don't have any real knowledge to back up what they're saying.
No.
Yeah.
Like, you're not even educated enough to like push why you believe what you believe. And I'm not how do you say it? Like, Sean is a lot more calm than me. Like, if I need to be a radical, I can definitely be a radical, but like, that's not my first like method. I'm not going to just automatically come to you to debate. But if you're going to say something ignorant, let me challenge your ignorance. let me at least find out, I can be logical and say, hey, okay, tell me why you think what you think, and then I'll tell you why historically you're wrong. But if you're not even going to logically have a conversation with me, then I don't even want to entertain it. Like, you're just telling me your opinion, and your opinion is wrong, and that's it. Like, once I realize you can't back up what you're saying, your statement is invalid. And I'm going to make sure that everyone else who reads this thread is going to know that your statement is invalid, period.
And that's one thing I've been doing a lot too. Just reading threads. Like, I've become obsessed. I'm obsessed with Twitter and Reddit and Instagram. But the comments, do you know who Tony Northup is? The silver-haired photographer guy on YouTube. He has a beautiful wife, Chelsea Northup. Anyways, they're white. And he's been going on Instagram posting, the black square, then posting a lot of, Black Lives Matter type sentimental, pictures. And everybody's on his comment section are like, I didn't follow you for this. Stop with so political crap. And it's like, how is this a political crap? What about this is being political? What?
And you find that everywhere, from gamers to clothing, and it's literally becoming the stigma of like shut up and dribble, like stay in your lane. And it's sickening. It's super sickening to the point where, like, for my own mental stability, I had to filter myself and just say, hey, like, Sean, like, you gotta calm down on how much you're going through these comments, because I'm not trying to get enraged. In any way that I approach, and I think my whole goal is, like, I want to be able to approach people in love and try to extend grace, expecting the same in return, and just try to keep conversations going. But a lot of people aren't trying to have conversations.
The funniest thing, day before yesterday, and during this whole pandemic, during this whole crisis, a pandemic within a pandemic, is elderly white woman. Well, not really old. She's probably like her 50s or 60s. I guess that's pretty old. I'm just being me and just, hey, how you doing?
Wow.
And just like looked at me and was like, and just kept looking, and I was like, you know what? I was like, wow, I guess nobody's saying hello today. And I just walked away. I was like, damn, man. I was like it's like right now we're at a time where there's like racial tension is high. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, screw all that. This lady's a woman. I'm a man. She's here. She's in my presence. I'm walking towards her. Like, I grew up, with courtesy and, respecting people. So if you come into a space, you say hello. So I'm walking up to this woman. Hey, how you doing? I was like, wow, nobody's saying hello today. And I just walked away because it's just like, what the hell? And my wife always says, like, why do you entertain these white people? Like, just stop saying hi. Just stop.
Like my wife.
That sounds like me. Sean is like always friendly. He's always going out of his way to say hi to people. And then I'd be like, dang, am I mean? Am I bitter? Like, what's going on?
Is that a wife thing?
Always doing
it's
it.
a wife thing.
But I'm like, when someone doesn't respond well to him, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna set this whole place on fire. This is the nicest person on the earth, and you won't say hi to him. Like, I don't appreciate this at all.
Yeah, my wife's the same way. When somebody disrespects me, she's like, no.
Yeah.
Thank God for the black queens.
Yes, man. Oh.
Wow. Dang. That's wild.
Yeah. It happens.
I don't even think it has anything to do with now. I think if it was like a month ago, I still think she wouldn't have said anything to you.
And then we find out she's actually deaf.
Oh,
That was my first thought.
No.
I'm
just got her AirPods in.
No, I had my AirPods in, so I was extra loud. So I was like, I'm like, hey, how you doing? And she just looked at me and I'm like, well, I guess nobody's saying hello today.
This is only right now anyway. Walked out.
I think one of the things that me and Sean have like realized in this as well, like as much as we need to have these conversations with white people, Hispanics, Asians, like we still need to have conversations within the Black community.
Yes,
like,
a lot.
I'm not going to go into full detail because I know it's going to put people on blast, but I had a conversation where I was saying, like, this is what this group should do or this person should do. And the group that I was in literally told me, why would you do that? That's never going to happen. Things are going to change. And what if they don't do that? And this isn't if they just instantly like shot me down.
Yeah.
And this is a group of Black and Hispanic people. And it made me like realize we are in mental slavery. Like we have to understand that we have to give room for things to happen. Like you can't shut things down before they even start. Like
there's like a war within this war. We have colorism.
And this,
we have
right. And this is not the first thing that we should tackle by any means, but it's definitely up there. Like once we get white people, we need to tackle our own community and our own mindset and try to move forward with that, because it's kind of scary to really hear how people think of what they really deserve.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, that moved me. My watch told me to stand up.
Right?
Man.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if you could say anything, you know, because we got Sean, the social justice warrior out here fighting the good fight. And you have your wife, Shantae, out here who's kind of, it's funny, I guess the scripts are being flipped right now, because I guess more so, I guess you guys believe that Shantae would have been someone to say something, but now Sean's kind of like rising, you know, from the ashes. What's something that you guys want to say out there right now as, you know, someone who's just at home? What can you do from your home right now? What can you say to get people to understand, just to understand that this is just not the time for this kind of stuff? Because I've been having these arguments with people as well who are saying and doing things, and I'm trying to explain to them, like, listen, dude, this is not the time. Like, even if this is how you feel, this is not the time. What's something you want to say to those people to get them to understand whatever you got going on, save it for tomorrow or change it altogether? What would you like to say to those people?
I mean, I think it's hard to say that. You know what I mean? Like, I think me and Sean are in a place where we acknowledge that everyone has a role to play in this.
Yeah.
Everyone has something to do. If it's your job to be silent, be silent. If it's your job right now to edify and tell people like what's going on and the history behind this systemic racism, then do that. If it's your job to go out and protest in the street, do that. If it's your job to bring people into your company and like give them a seat at the table, do what you can. Like, I know that's not a thing to do at home, but everyone has a role to play, and it's your job to figure that out. Like, if you really think that all Black people are just on welfare and are just trying to live off of your tax dollars, then you clearly need to shut up, and you need to really look into history. You need to really watch some Netflix documentaries, listen to a podcast. You need to realize that it's well known that most people who are on welfare are of Caucasian race. Like, it's known that people who are on food stamps, who are committing food stamp fraud, are people who are mostly white. And of course, there's no one thing that's going to cover every race or anything like that. But if you actually took the time to learn about your own culture and mine, you'll realize that half the stuff you're saying or half the stuff that media is pushing is ignorant and has no actual fact or knowledge backing it. So it's like, I think everyone has a job. Even Black people have the job of learning more. Like, as much as I know about Black culture, there's still so much more that I still need to learn. Like, I watched a documentary on, like, Black Panthers because I'm like, now we're here, we're getting the attention, but what's next? Like, I'm not saying we need to be walking around with, like, weapons of mass destruction on our shoulder or in a black beret or whatever, but, like, we need to know why they were pushing for what they were pushing for. Like, let's keep this going. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep going to the next step.
Beautiful. I don't know. Beautifully put. Absolutely. Education is so important, especially right now. But one thing I will say is definitely, if you don't feel like it's your place to educate people, don't feel like you have to. I know a lot of people have been coming to me and saying, I have a lot more either non-Black people or a lot of white people coming to me to ask, well, what should I say or what should I do? We're not Obama.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not the president
This is
of
not a
anything.
TED Talk.
Yeah. So I personally, at first, I was kind of like, well, you shouldn't say this or do that because that's insensitive. But at the same time, it's like kind of common sense. Or if you want to better understand why we're reacting in this way and what you can do, go out and look for numbers that you can text to contact Congress or to sign petitions or do what you can do. It's not our job. Every individual Black person is not the ambassador of Black people. If you really come to a point where you're just like, hey, I don't understand this or I don't understand that, and you can't Google everything as much as we want to believe that. But if it's something as simple as like, why is this offensive? I could find you 100 million articles or 100 million posts that just explain why saying all lives matters is offensive. Or why we're fighting what we're fighting for now. XYZ. There's a million statistics. There's so many things you can do.
You know, it's so weird. They love hip hop. They love rap. They love our style. They love our clothing. They love our dance. But they don't love us.
They love the culture, but they don't love us.
That's crazy. Because you're saying all this, and I'm just imagining the people that have been asking me stuff. And I'm like, this dude, this chick, they're into this. They like dance. They like break. They listen to this music. They love all this stuff, but they don't know how to conversate with me properly without offending me. That's weird.
Bro, I literally commented on like IGN's post because one guy was like, it was probably just a trope, and he was like, well, they should go back to Africa so that they can be quote unquote free.
Oh.
And I was like, hey, yo, someone tell Kevin to go back to Europe and stop using seasoning.
Wow.
Because, like everyone's ignorant.
Yeah.
Everyone's, no one's trying to come from a place of love. No one's trying to sit down.
So my thing is also it starts from the education too, like with school. Because, we were taught, a lot of different cultures, history growing up in schools, and we were kind of like rushed through ours, and we only know just a little. Yeah, we got ships, and then the ships did here, and then we came here, and then we had the manifest destiny and all this other stuff, and screw all that stuff, and we're free.
The slave trade, and then they jump forward to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks, and then that's Black History Month, guys.
Yep.
We did it.
We did it. Then watch that cartoon.
There's so much that happened in between, and even like just the knowledge of like, oh, they have vilified like Black Panthers, and they never really stopped and talk about all the good that they did for the community and how they really like brought us forward. Like they were teaching Black people the law, so when they got arrested or like pulled over, they knew what to say and what their rights were because most of them couldn't read or actually had the formal, definitely not legal information. Like it's just crazy that for so long we were taught one narrative about Black history, and now we really have to do so much to teach our younger generation and the older generation, because they're ignorant too, about what really happened and why it happened, and how we can build upon it now.
And then that's the thing too with you keep mentioning the Black Panthers. It's always that a negative connotation added to when you hear the Black Panther Party.
Yeah, always.
And it's always weird, right? And then when you actually do your research and realize who Fred Hampton was, I believe he was one of the founders of the Black Panther Party, and for the things that he was doing for his community, and you realize, wow, this was actually a really good thing. But it was considered a gang and a what do you call that? Like a terrorist community. But here the Hell's Angels is a group of white men who are mostly racist, biking around the world, and you have the KKK, which is okay, but a group that's feeding and taking care of their community is a terrorist organization.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand it.
Yeah, and it's not even that they understood what they were doing. Like the government understood what the Black Panthers were doing. They were uniting Black people. They were giving them knowledge. They were teaching them the law that they didn't want them to know and understand. And they knew that and it's been said so many times, if we actually, as Black people actually were unified, they wouldn't be able to stop us. That's why they keep us divided. That's why they keep teaching us colorism, and they keep showing us to be afraid of each other, or that we're not good enough or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know all the things that they subliminally actually like shut down our throats. But
Next to the Pledge of Allegiance.
yeah, like at the end of the day,
Pledge of
like
Allegiance.
if we were to truly just pour into ourselves, build up our own businesses, actually support our own Black dollar, actually just educate our own kids and like just grow us as people, like it would be over for most of these big corporate companies, period. Like you built your whole generational wealth on our backs. And if we took that back, like what would you have to show?
Wow.
I mean, I don't know.
That was beautiful.
It's a lot, nonetheless. It's a lot, and
it starts with these type of conversations.
Absolutely.
Honestly, yeah, it does. And I will say, like, I've had very healthy conversation with white people in the last 2 weeks. Like, real, like, let's talk about racism for real conversations. Like, and I appreciate that because it makes me feel seen and heard more than I've ever been before. And I think, you know, that's why I'll take the time to talk about it. Like, that's how Jess was saying, like, not everyone wants to talk, but if I actually feel comfortable with it and you come to me, I will speak to you. Like, if I genuinely see that you're trying to be a part of the resolution and not a part of the problem, like, why wouldn't I take my time?
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Wow. That was beautiful.
That was beautiful. We appreciate it, guys.
Thank you guys for
appreciate you guys.
No, thank you.
For this.
No, we definitely want people to hear, you know, I mean, we have a mix of people coming on today to talk, but we definitely want people to hear, like, this is what Black people truly want. You know, we're not out here looting to loot. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, it's only white people loot, you know. We out, you know, the window's open, you know, but, you know, we're not looting to loot. We're not fighting to fight. We're not arguing to argue. We're not protesting to protesting. We're doing this for something. Some people are doing it for other reasons, but we're out here fighting the good fight because we want real change. And for people like Shantae and Sean and me, and even though my husband's white, you know, me being half Black, my child, I don't know what my kid's gonna look like. You know, Vic's kind of pale, so probably pale. But you know, Vic made a comment to me the other day about, and Vic really wants kids, and he said, you know, I'm afraid that if my son, like, he may not look Black, but he is Black. We don't know what he's gonna look like coming out, and I'm afraid for him. Like, I'm afraid to have kids knowing that this is what he would have to be a part of. This is a life he would have. And hearing my husband say that is so sad. And for like young Black or interracial couples, it is a real legitimate fear. We had a friend of ours say that, because she's Black, her son's Black, you know, if I knew it was going to be like this now and I didn't have my son, I don't think I would have had kids. Or I don't even think I would have thought even about having kids right now, because I'm afraid for my son and I'm afraid for any future kids that might come along. Actually, I don't even know if I want to have any more. And it's really scary. So for the people that really don't understand why we're doing this, it's so that we can have a future. And we understand, like Marvel said, it may not happen in our lifetime, the next generation, the one after that. But if we can, every decade or every generation, pass one more law, have a little bit more rights, there will come a time where we'll feel comfortable. Everything's not going to be perfect because crazy people are crazy people. They exist no matter what. But if we can make the world a little bit safer for our people, and I know it sounds selfish when we say Black Lives Matter and people, all lives matter. Yeah, they should, but they don't. And right now, we need the focus to be here. And that's what we mean by Black Lives Matter. Not only Black Lives Matter, but just right now, we need everyone to support and just to understand that everyone faces their challenges. They do. But as a race, I think Black people in this country can say comfortably they definitely have a fear of, am I going to come home? Am I going to wake up? You know, from doing regular stuff. If I have one more non-Black person tell me, I've been stopped by the cops. Yeah, what were you doing? Something illegal. Yeah, you know, we're not getting stopped for reading, playing in the park, running, doing, you know, regular stuff. You know, and that's the difference.
Like, stopped by the police. It's like we're getting killed by the police. Like, even if whatever they were doing was illegal, then I have the right of a trial. I have a right to
Correct.
defend myself. I don't
Correct.
even get that opportunity, bro. So that's the issue. Like, you want to say it's just, you want to say that it's, the government is written for everybody, but then if I do make it to a courthouse, the jury is predominantly white to dictate what my outcome and what my future is. When
it's not even a group of my peers.
It's not my peers. It's not someone that's going to understand where I came from. It's not understanding that if I stole food from a corner store, it's because I don't have anything to eat. Like, that's not the logic of when you have a completely different demographic. Like, there's so much that needs to be changed. And I know that, like, people want to push the all lives matter thing, but, like, let us have our moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we haven't had this platform. We haven't had social media. We haven't been able to control the narrative like we have right now. Just let us have this and help.
And it's just the concept that, like, whenever people pop up in different comment sections and they're just like, well, I'm white too, like, I should matter. It's like, bro, you never realize that you never have to be like, yo, this is so amazing that, white people are on this platform. No, that's not a thought, because white people are always in the forefront.
Yeah.
Like, my thought, if I see black people like this are doing something with video games or movies or in television, I'm just like, yo, look at all these black people. Like, it's a difference. That's not a thought for you because it's your norm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
So, one day at a time.
Yeah. I'm just like, this is deep. This is deep.
This is crazy.
This is beautiful. Man, we might have to do another one of these episodes.
Have to do a part 2.
Right? This is
We
awesome.
we here for it.
What? Love it. We love to see it. Well, thank you guys so much again. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you. If we do a part 2, we'll definitely let you guys know.
Definitely have to have
we
it
want to
on.
do a part 2 where we talk about maybe some of the things that are being put in place or the changes that have been made since the beginning of these protests. I mean, good golly, if nothing's changed in these last couple of weeks, like that's saying a lot. But thank you guys again for coming on.
Love you guys for having us.
Of course.
All right, guys.
And
Good
we'll
night.
talk to you soon.
Bye. Bye.
That was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So who do we have next?
Next we have Vanessa. So Vanessa's not black. She's the only, I think she's the first non-black person. She's Puerto Rican, but she is an ally. I love you. I don't know if she's watching live right now.
Hopefully.
But
Hope she picks up. I didn't give
I
her
told
a
her we're going to
text.
call her. Yeah.
Hello.
Hello. Is this Vanessa?
Yes.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, Jessica. Hi, Gil.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm
Nice
good.
to meet you. Well,
Nice
nice
to-
to meet you, Gil.
Nice to meet you. Are you
So-
watching the video?
I am watching the video right
awesome.
now. Yeah, I see you
Okay.
guys just got off.
Oh.
Hi, welcome to the podcast. You're famous now.
I'm famous. I'm ready for my close-up, guys.
Oh my gosh. Extra pay at work. I'm a star now. I want a pay raise. So thank you for coming on with us. So
Thank you for having me.
as I told everyone, you're going to be our first non-black speaker today, but you are an ally, definitely.
Yes.
I talk to Vanessa like every day, but I've been having conversations with her about what's been going on and, some of the thoughts that are kind of floating around, and just having conversations with her also about, like, I'm not going to get into it because we all kind of know each other, but
We know.
we know some of the insensitive comments that have kind of been going around and just like how that feels. So first I'm going to start off with, how are you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm doing, I guess, like as some of the other speakers were saying, I'm doing a little bit better. I mean, you go through social media and it becomes just a lot. And I mean, I can't say that I'll ever, like, I'll never fully understand, of course. And you see, like, the obvious big things that are going on with George Floyd and all the protests, but then all other people coming out with their own personal stories of their interactions with the police. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm Latina, I'm Puerto Rican, but I'm also, as you can see there, I'm very fair skinned. I can probably white pass a good portion of the time. I don't feel scared when the police pull me over, and I can't ever say that or ever really understand. So when I see it just constantly play out every day and playing out so much, everyone coming forward with their own story, it's exhausting. Like I cried. Like it's a lot to take on.
Vanessa's a
But
crier.
hopefully changes. I'm a crier. I'm so emotional. But
Yeah. So I want to ask. So even though you're not white, obviously you're Latina.
Mhm.
How do you feel when you see other, like, not even just white people, but like anyone who's not black, so other people of color or white people saying and like trying to switch the narrative to all lives matter, or saying or doing insensitive things? How does it make you feel as someone who's an ally, but also on the other side?
I mean, I definitely. So there's two parts. A part of me is internally like, you're an idiot. I mean, I don't want to be like so blatant about it, but I mean,
You're not wrong.
it's part of me wants to, educate and help people understand. Because I mean, I get it. Yes, my life matters because I am a human being on this planet, but my life isn't the one being attacked on the daily.
Yeah.
Like I don't have, nobody clutches their purse tighter as I walk by. Nobody, locks their door as I walk by the car. It's different for me. My life matters, but my life isn't being attacked right now. So part of me wants to educate and just be like, no, sit down. Let's have a talk. But internally, I'm just like, what is wrong with you?
Have you ever had to educate someone?
Yes.
How was
yes,
that?
Jessica knows. There was a little. I don't. So this person, me and Jessica both know, they took it in stride, the conversation, but I don't think they fully understand. We had a conversation with a couple of people that they're very much a group thinker, and they felt people were mad at him. So he changed his own narrative because people were mad at him. So I think he's not fully grasping it. Maybe we'll get there. I don't know. He's a project. I think he's gonna be a project.
It's
But even in my own
weird.
household.
It's weird
Yeah.
how you have to force somebody to understand, or you try to force somebody to understand that, hey, my life is at risk all the time, systemically, and even like right in front, like getting pulled over by police officers is a threat. And it's kind of weird that you have to explain that to somebody. Hey, when people pull me over, they see a threat. I'm walking down the street. Hey, I bike, and I also used to run, so I used to frequent this park. So I would have to literally slow down because I don't want to scare people. That's just something that's, there's something wrong with you then. No, because if I continue to run next to this white woman, she will freak out and she will try to mace me, or she will try to say something, or I'm trying to attack her, because that's the narrative. So it's weird how you have to like force spoon it to somebody, like, hey, this thing happens, not to you, but it happens to black people, and this is why they're protesting. And it's so annoying and weird that you have to like force somebody to understand that.
It's weird that you have to force someone to understand that like human decency should be for everyone, not for a select group of people, or sometimes, or when the situation calls for it. When people say things like all lives matter, yeah, they should.
Yeah.
All lives should matter.
But they don't.
Yeah. And that's across the board for people of color. And yeah, some of us go through it worse than others. And I definitely believe, like, in this country at least, because there's a whole world out there outside of the U.S. But in this country at least, black people definitely have like the short end, and I hate not educating people, because like the teacher inside of me wants to just explain to everyone, like, this is why it's mean, this is why it's sensitive, but some people just don't want to, because then they have to change something about themselves in order to make that change, and they just don't want to. And it's
you have to admit they were wrong.
Yes.
First off, admit they're wrong, and it doesn't benefit them. It doesn't benefit someone that is privileged to work on themselves, to change the way that they believe or feel in order to help someone. It doesn't benefit them. Even if that person that they're helping were to have a better life, it doesn't do anything for them. So, and that, I think
it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they don't care. It doesn't really affect them.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to go home and like, or go to work or go outside the community and deal with it. They're like, well, that's on them. All they can. Some people, they literally would just make a Instagram post. Well, this is how I'm doing, because I don't really care. I'm just gonna post this, let them think that I'm okay with it, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So.
And even
especially me coming from, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What were you saying?
This is your time.
Especially, so even coming from like a Hispanic background, I mean, we're taught racism from the get. Don't bring home a black guy. Don't bring home a black girlfriend.
Morello? What's the term, Morello?
Oh, moreno.
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 Yeah.
It means like a darker person, whether
Yeah.
they're Afro Latino or they're black. You don't bring home someone who's black. I mean, I think now, like in these days and age, I think, well, because I'm 29 and I'm not married, my parents are like, bring home anyone. But growing up, it was definitely like, don't bring home anyone black. Like, listen, we're not racist. We have, we have black friends, but don't bring home a black person, please. I mean, that's something that's taught to us even from the get. And it's very interesting because, like, my mom is very, very pale. Like, she is like, she looks like a white woman, and my dad is Afro Latino. Like, he's like twice as dark as Jess, and so it's interesting. It's like you're with someone who is the darker complexion. Like, what? Like, oh no, but he's Puerto Rican. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
I get that.
different.
I hear that a lot. Like, I have a lot of black Dominican friends and black Puerto Rican friends, and they're on the fence of, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. I'm not black, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm not black. Yeah, you're black. You it's in you. The melanin is in you. You're black. No, I'm Puerto Rican. Doesn't work like that.
So I have to ask, because I don't understand that either. So I know that in the Haitian culture, a lot of Haitians, especially if they're born in Haiti and then immigrate to the U.S., like they get very offended because they don't see themselves as black people the way that, like in America, if you're American and you see a black person, you're a black person. Yeah. They don't really care where you're from. But a lot of Haitian people do not like to be confused with or associated with black Americans because they feel as though because they're of a different culture that it doesn't apply to them.
That's actually every culture. Nigerian, Guyanan, Bahamian, Jamaican, every other culture, black culture, I should say, looks down on black Americans.
Yeah. So do you, I don't understand. Why do, like
disassociate?
Yeah. Like, what's the disassociation? Is because black is just we're just referring to like a skin color mostly.
Well, from way I understand it, this Nigerian woman was telling me black Americans have no tribe. They're like scattered all over the place. There's no like sense of unity. Like, if my wife Alex, she's Haitian, we eat the same food, we speak the same language, we have the same mannerisms, we're Haitian, from the same tribe. Black Americans are all over the place. Montana, Georgia, New York, they're black, but they're different, and they're still, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, they're all lost that's what she told me. They're all lost.
But colorism exists in
everywhere.
Hispanic culture. So why don't you... So it has to be somewhere in there, because if colorism exists the same way it does in the black community, then like what? It's weird, if you're it's okay to be dark because you're Puerto Rican, but amongst Puerto Ricans, colorism still exists. So it's like weird.
It's like Shantae said, it's like a war within the war. We got to fight this war first, then go on to the next war, because it's a non-ending battle.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever stop.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Because even the term Morello, like, it's Moreno, right?
Moreno, yeah.
Moreno. Moreno. That term, that exists.
Yeah.
It means a darker hue, skin tone.
Exactly.
Italians have like mulies.
Yeah.
Mulianos.
It's so crazy. Like, that's a thing. Like, that's what we've been worrying about for centuries. Like, all this technological advancement in our culture, we're still worried about race at the back end. Everybody's thinking about it.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask. So as a non-black ally, what do you want to say, or what advice do you have for people that kind of are either trying to change the narrative or are just constantly standing their ground on this sort of really insensitive language and behavior right now? Like, what can they do to be better?
I mean, see, if you're gonna have this stance against it, educate yourself, because the data doesn't lie, numbers don't lie, the anecdotes don't lie, and you're saying you're fighting for this, this other side of the narrative. But all of the data and stories and visuals exists, so disproving what you believe. So I mean, if you sit down and actually educate yourself, and stop trying to, I guess, when you're making your argument, change, like, give the argument, oh well, what about black on black crimes? Like, that's not what this is about. This is about systemically, like, the system fighting against black people.
Yeah.
If you really look into it and educate yourself, you'll see that you are on the wrong side of the narrative.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's
Wow.
good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I miss you so much.
All right,
I love
Vanessa,
you.
it's nice talking to you.
It was nice talking to you.
All right,
Have
we'll
a good
talk to
night.
you soon.
Bye.
Night. All right, beautiful.
All right, so who's next?
Whew, our second to last caller. So she is also Haitian. I don't know if she's Haitian American or just Haitian, from the islands. But yes, our next caller is also a woman of color who also knows both Vanessa and I and have heard and seen these crazy comments. We've also had conversations about this wild stuff that's been going on lately. I hope she brings the same energy that we've had in our conversations, because y'all really need to hear some of the stuff that's being said and some of the feelings that we have.
Vivian, right?
Vivian. I might call her Viv, but yes, Vivian.
I don't think you gave me her number.
Wait, did I not?
It just says Vivian colon.
Hold on. Let's see. Hold on. Go down. I think I gave it. Did I not? Hold on. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. She gave it to me and then I copied it and I think I forgot to give it to you, girl.
All right, hold on.
We need one of those cards that's like technical difficulties. It just
I
plays
should have
music.
put one in there.
We need to make one of those. Yes, it is Viv. Yes, we're calling Viv. I need someone to give me hype. All right, Gil, I'm sending you the number now.
Okay, so we're gonna call her.
Yes. Right, okay, guys. So I try to find the most flattering photos because I didn't consult with any of you.
Hello.
Hello, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Hi, Viv.
Bonsoir. Hi, Boo. How are you?
Good. I miss you so much.
I miss you.
I'm finding every excuse to buy something so I can go in and
yeah, because I'm like, every time I turn around, this girl's in the store. She's buying something.
I literally drive to another city to go to the
How you doing,
crazy.
Viv?
You love us. I am well. How are you?
I'm good. Well,
What's
not
going
really.
on?
Not really.
After I said I am well, I was like, I'm lying.
Yeah.
I'm really not that great.
So tell us about it. How are you feeling? What's going on up there?
So, I wake up every morning heavy-hearted, and I wake up every morning crying. I was telling my friend that it's so hard to unplug myself because it's like you kind of want to stay in the know. You want to know what's going on, and so it's like here I am on Instagram all day refreshing my page, and sometimes I feel like I'm driving my crazy because I'm going to these different news sites and I'm reading the comments, and it's almost like I'm doing myself a disservice because again I want to stay in the know, but it's overwhelming. It's emotionally draining at this point. So it's like, but I mean, I'm for my people. So whatever I have to do to stay informed, whatever I have to do to, as you guys were saying earlier, to educate my people, that's what I'm for.
Beautiful. So how do you feel having a son and seeing everything that's going on right now? Because on one end, it's scary to see that this is still happening. There was a 74-year-old woman who's going to protest because she's like, the same thing that's happening to you guys in this generation happened in mine. And for her to be 74 years old and see no change is scary. So how do you feel now seeing that people are fighting so people like your son can have at least a little bit more rights, for in his lifetime?
It's heartbreaking. So like I look at him and he's 7. So he loves to tell people, I'm just such a happy kid. I just want to be a happy kid. So to hear him say that, and he literally says that like every single day. So to hear him say that and know that in about 10 years from now, maybe 12, 13 years, somebody's going to take that away from him. The joy that he has in his heart, like that love that he has for every single person, somebody's going to take that away from him. And I think what kills me even more is the fact that like, I'm here with him now and I see him every single day, there's going to be a time where I'm not going to see him every single day. And I can't be there to protect him 100% of the time. So I think of the mothers who are currently going through this, like George Floyd's mom, where like I can't imagine being the mom on the opposite end of that phone call. Like getting that phone call that my son was gunned down in the street because he looked a certain type of way or because he fit the description of somebody who's not even, from the area. Just thinking about being that mom on the other end of that phone call, every time I think about that, it kills me. Knowing that I can't be there to protect him every day kills me. I'm not the only parent, of course, who feels that way. And all of my friends have, for the most part, have little boys, so we all have sons. So we have these conversations all the time, and it's draining. It's so draining to know that my son, my precious son, who I'm just a happy kid, in about 13 years, when he's about 18, even before then, because at this point now is they're being racially profiled at 13, 16, just to know in a couple of years he's not going to have that feeling anymore where I just want to be a happy kid. Someone is going to take that away from him, and I can't deal.
I like what, I mean, I don't like what you said, but I like what you said, that phrase, they're going to take that happiness away from him. That's crazy. And that's true. Like, I grew up a happy kid, being happy and wanting to share everything with everybody, but then realizing that my neighbors didn't want to play with me. My neighbor's father told me and my dad that we can't play with his kids because we're black. And, being a small kid coming from, leaving a country and coming to America, you're not understanding, wait, why can't I play with them? And then my dad has to tell me, oh no, you can't play with them. They're white and they don't like us.
That's insanity to me. Like, that's crazy that people still think like that. Yeah. It's crazy to me that, like, we're in 2020 and we're still talking about my child can't play with your child because of a skin tone. True story. So my son, he'll be going to the 2nd grade. When he was in kindergarten, I want y'all to hear this, kindergarten. One morning I'm getting him dressed for school and he says, Mommy, the little girl said my skin is nasty. And I'm like, wait, what? Come again? He was like, the little girl, and it's so funny, her name is Jessica too.
Oh, no.
He said, Jessica said my skin is nasty because it's brown. And y'all, I lost my mind. I got on the phone so quick. It was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I got on the phone so quick and I called his teacher and I'm like, yo, here's what he just told me. And, now she's distraught. Like, I didn't know that happened. So let me reach out to, the little girl and somebody else. And I'm going to reach out to the parents and we're going to have a conference call. Because again, I didn't know that happened. But to know that a kindergartner, like you guys are 5, 6 years old, to know that at 5, 6, you're already being taught that someone else's skin color is nasty, her words, because it's not the same as yours, or because he's a little darker than you. Like, what? Why do you know that at 5 or 6 years old?
Wow, that's early. That's because the scary part is, like, you can't control what your kids learn once they leave the house. But that sounds definitely like a behavior that you learned from your parents. At that age, you're learning that from your parents.
Absolutely. It's starting in the home.
Wow.
And that's trauma that your son will have, growing up, realizing my skin is bad. Or maybe he might have some type of feeling towards white women because he had this traumatic experience. So now when he's around white women, he'll be like, I don't feel safe. And he'll never know why, but that came from a trauma he had when he was a kid.
For sure.
And that's stuff that we don't really talk about.
Even me, as like, I'm biracial and I used to go to the beach a lot with my grandmother. So I was darker. I was probably a couple shades darker than I am now. And I experienced racism for the first time from this old white neighbor. I think I've told the story before about, me and this other white kid ran through her yard. We didn't touch anything. We didn't break anything. We literally just ran through her yard. And she let him go and she kept me and told my grandmother, who's white, when she told her to come over and talk, that I didn't belong in that neighborhood. I didn't deserve to be there. I didn't belong there. And And then, I went because I lived with my mom and we lived in predominantly white neighborhoods and I went to predominantly white schools. I would get bullied by white kids. So up until I was 17, I didn't like white people. I didn't feel comfortable around white people. I didn't like white guys. Like, it's funny now because I'm married to, well, he's Puerto Rican Italian, but I never in my life and it's not on looks or whatever. Just I couldn't imagine being with a white man, integrating my life with a white family, like a bunch of white friends. I couldn't imagine that because I had so many bad experience with racist white people growing up that I couldn't imagine. And I said this too, I think last episode. My mom was like, "Why do you always talk about pro-blackness and this and that? How come you never talk about you being white?" And I said, everything that I've ever experienced as from white people, if that's what it means to be white, then why would I be proud of that?
Exactly.
And she looked at me and she was like, "I didn't know all this stuff was happening. Like, I understand why you feel that way now." It takes so much longer to undo the traumas than it did, because it only takes a moment for you to say or do something to someone, and they'll think about that for the rest of their life.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
So I don't have kids, and until I have one, I won't fully understand. But even just from a psychological standpoint, that stuff stays with you forever.
Yeah. Oh, it does. It does. And a lot of people think that, once they get to a certain age, they forget certain things. That is not true. That is not true. Just because they're kids and, right now they're super innocent, there are certain things that happen to them, certain things that are said. They don't forget that. So you can't think, oh, because it happened to him when he was 5, once he turns 10, he's going to forget. He's not. No, it's with him forever.
And I tell
people. And it's up to me.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so that's why it's up to me as his mom. I speak life into him. We speak our affirmations in the morning. Like, I make him feel so good about himself. Like, "Ooh, boy, you so handsome." And, you have to talk like that. So when he goes out into the world and someone says something to him, he's not fazed by it because he knows who he is.
Yeah,
he knows he can look in the mirror and he can say, I am handsome. I love my skin color. Or I love this about myself, and everything that everyone else can knock down about you, he won't have those insecurities. And that's my job as his mom.
Right. I always tell people, don't say or do anything in front of your kids that you're not ready to explain. And that goes into your point of people don't forget. I feel like it's worse to introduce something negative to a child because they do not forget it. No. And as they get older, because they never processed it, because there's certain milestones that kids have. Like, when you're a parent, you go to the doctor, your kid should be walking by this age. Your kid should be sitting up by this age. Same thing when they develop mentally. Your kids can't grasp certain emotions, certain concepts, fear, jealousy, whatever. They have to hit a certain age in order for them to really grasp it. And when you do something to a child or to a younger person that they can't understand or you can't explain to them, they live with that. And you have to undo that stuff that they've been living with for years, and it just marinates. Marinates.
It's not easy.
Exactly. So it's super important for people to speak, like you do, the affirmations every morning, and to let them know they're beautiful and they're loved. And, it's because that's the kind of stuff that they need to have, and children are sponges.
Oh my goodness, yes.
They hear everything, they see everything. Just because they can't process it or they don't understand doesn't mean, like, how many times have you just remember something randomly from when you were young and you don't really know what happened, or until you were older and were able to process it, but you always remember what happened. So it's so important for that. So I'm going to ask you right now, seeing everything that's going on, being a mom and I feel like Black women are always kind of like the mothers to everyone in the community at times like this. What do you want to say to other moms to be about what's going on right now? And I guess let's just focus right now on other mothers right now that have sons and Black daughters as well that might be really stressed out, going through a lot. What do you want to say to them in this time?
It's almost, for one, educate yourself.
Yes.
I think that is so big, because I need to educate myself. I'm his first teacher. right?
Right.
So yeah, he goes to school, but everything that he's going to learn and that he's going to carry with him throughout the rest of his life is going to come from me. So it's up to me now to make sure I'm educated so that when he goes out into the world, he's safe and he's protected the best way that he can be. So it's hard, but to be gentle with yourself, as a mother, and to be gentle with them. But if I go back to the educate yourself part, with all of this going on, I know a little bit about my Black history, but I don't know enough. I don't know what I should know. So one of the things that I've been doing this week is reading up on my Black history, and I'm going to teach that to him too. So I don't want him to walk around, a couple years from now, he's ignorant. He doesn't understand his history. He doesn't know his history. He doesn't know where he comes from. So that's what we're working on this week. I've made it my business. I went on Amazon. I found a whole bunch of Black history books for kids, something that he can read and he can understand at his age level.
Can you send us those resources? So
Yes,
we can definitely post that.
for sure. So I found a whole bunch on Amazon. I was shocked because I didn't think I would find them. But for me, and for every other parent out there who's raising Black sons, it's our job to make sure our kids are educated, that they know who they are. And so that, again, when they go out into the streets, they're protected and they know how to carry themselves. And I hate almost saying that because it's like you have to carry yourself a certain type of way so you're not being stereotyped. But hell, you're going to be stereotyped anyways, right? So know how to conduct yourself when you're in certain situations. It's just like those are the things that you have to start thinking about right now so that you can protect them later on. Wow. And that's really all you can do.
That's beautiful.
That's all you could do.
Because a school will really tell your kids about Martin Luther King, George Washington Carver, Rosa Parks, and
that's it.
Call it a day. They really will.
So, and I have this conversation all the time. I've posted this before, and it all ties in with what our people go through, right? So I always wondered why they don't teach us about credit in school, right? So you go to school and they teach you 5x minus 2y equals caca. But what does that do for me? What does that do for me later on in my life? I really didn't understand the importance of credit until about a couple years ago. I was never taught credit by anyone. I grew up with a Haitian mother. She's super Haitian. So, Haitian people, they don't believe in buying anything on credit. Yeah. So if I don't have the cash to pay for it right now, I just don't buy it, right? And I feel like that's a way they hold us back. So you know how white people live their life? They live their life on credit. They build good credit and they go out and they get, amazing loans and they're able to start businesses and they're able to project and move themselves forward. But if you look at the Black community, it's not like that. So why aren't we teaching our kids the things that they need to know so that when they get out into the real world, 5y minus x don't mean I'm sorry, I probably can't curse. Don't mean nothing.
You can curse on here.
It don't mean nothing. So, that's the things that I want us to start teaching our kids, right? Let's teach our kids everything that they're trying to hide from them. So, you go to school and they want you to write a 5-paragraph essay. It's very important to have good grammar. It's very important, to be able to speak well. That's all good and dandy. But the white people on the other side of town, they're teaching their kids things that will give them generational wealth. They don't teach us that stuff. And that's how they hold us back. Like they're holding us back because now, the only thing we're taught, if you notice, the only thing that they flash in front of us is, the nice shoes, the nice cars. And so that's what we all aspire to attain. But that don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing if you don't have what you need to be able to build wealth for yourself and for your family, your grandchildren, your grandchildren's children. Like those are the things that we need to take, take into consideration and on our own to start teaching our kids the stuff that they need to know so that they can be better in life. So for me is that last night we watched the movie Rosewood. Have you ever heard of Rosewood?
Heard of it, but haven't seen it.
Okay, so Rosewood is was based on a true story, a small town in up North Florida where they slaughtered us. They slaughtered a little town where they were self-sufficient. They had their own houses. They owned their own land.
Where's
they owned everything.
Where's the show?
Rosewood.
No, the movie.
It's a movie. You can find it on Amazon. I watched it on Amazon last night. But they slaughtered us. Again, Tulsa. I'm pretty sure you guys heard of Black Wall Street. So it's like these are the things now with everything that's going on. We need to teach our kids about economics, so that 20 years from now, 50 years from now, we're not still talking about this, because at this point we understand and we know the oppression that they have against us. So now we're going to build our own wealth. We're going to have our own everything. We don't need these white people for nothing no more. That's what we need to start doing. That's what we need to start doing. I say it all the time. The power is in our black dollars. The moment that we stop spending money with these corporations, they sending out all these, we stand with you and Black Lives Matter. That don't mean shit. You know why? Because you're going to send this email now and you think this shit's going to die down 3 months from now and y'all going to go back. Well, you know what? Fuck that shit. Now we need to change. Now we need to start setting up our own. We need to have our own businesses, our own bank accounts, our own airports, our own grocery stores, our own hospitals. I remember reading a little while back that Black women were more likely to die during childbirth because they just don't give a fuck. And you know why they don't give a fuck? Because they know that at the end of the day, no matter what, we don't have our own to go back to. We need them. We depend on them and we rely on them. And at this point, I'm done. I'm sick and tired of it. We need our own. So that's what we need to teach ourselves, and that's what we need to teach our kids.
Wow.
That was strong. I love that.
I was like, I like that. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I spoke to my mom a while back, and she had gotten a lot of money after her father passed. And we were having the conversation about money because I also only a couple years ago learned about credit using, it's a system called Budgetnista. And it's a whole program. It's a Black woman who teaches everyone how to, use money, credit, everything like that. And my mom was like, I'm so sorry that I was never able to show you how to be good with money because no one taught me. So how could I teach you something I don't know? So very important to educate, like you said, to educate yourself, to be able to educate your children. I had a woman at another job that I have, she came in and I was reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's a book about, learning about credit and things like that. And she's like, I read that book. I read that book 3 times. It was a Black woman. And I was like, oh, wow, really? Yeah, I really like this book. It has a really good information. This is stuff nobody tells you. And she was like, my daughter's 9 years old. And I've already started implementing some of those things in that book. So by the time she's 18, we're not starting her first bank account. Yeah. She's not just learning about credit, because when she's 18 is when she's going to go out into the world to do these things, to use her credit. And I'm not going to teach her that at 18. She needs to know this way before. And that's the problem. We're not, as minorities, we're not taught that. Yeah. No one ever sits down to teach us the importance of credit, to teach us the importance of being, financially stable, to teach us the importance of savings, to teach us the importance of investing. We're not taught that. At least for me, I was never taught that. Not in elementary school, not in middle school, not in high school. But on the other side of town, the white kids are being taught that. So these kids, they leave at 18 and they're ready, they're set, good to go, because they've been taught that. So it's like they'll always have that upper hand above us, because now they can go and get this big old loan to start the business that they want to. They can go and graduate from school and have to worry about thousands and thousands of dollars in student loans. Like, they have that. We don't have that because we weren't taught it, and we weren't taught it on purpose. I never thought about that. Like, until you said it, I'm like, that's very true. And we, like you said, we can't teach others what we don't know, so it's important to educate ourselves. But yeah, that's definitely like never at the forefront. But if you go into any predominantly Black neighborhood, you can find a pawn shop, you can find a check cashing place, instant loans. But if you go into a predominantly white or upper class neighborhood, that stuff doesn't exist. One, because they don't need that resource, and 2, and they've been taught not to use that kind of stuff. But let it be anywhere where we're at in large numbers, and all of a sudden it's, here, get this payday loan at 500% interest. Here, get this. Oh my
goodness.
Check cashing stores.
I wish I was joking. Watch a payday loan commercial. Look at the small text at the bottom and see what the interest rate is. I mean, it's stuff that you can't even get out of sometimes. If you're at the point where you have to get a payday loan, you're never going to be able to afford to pay it back.
Yeah. And again, it's on purpose. Like, they set us up to be held back so we can never get ahead on purpose. And I feel like now, with everything that's going on, most people, at least I hope so, most people are starting to open their eyes, and they're starting to see, I feel like we're sheltered all the time. We know that racism exists, and we know that oppression exists, but I feel like we kind of go through it like, I'll be okay. But we don't put the better foot forward to make sure that we can change the narrative for ourselves.
Correct.
So that's what we have to start doing now.
It's kind of like, you go to work and you're short staffed and you manage to work through the short staffing and your boss sees it. All of a sudden they start scheduling less people because, oh, well, they can do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like, in Black society, it's like we deal with it because people like, oh, well, they're not going to die if they have to, take out an extra loan, or they're not going to die if they don't know about credit. They live lives, so why it's fine, and then also like what Shantae said about, once we attack this war, we have to go back and educate ourselves. Like, we really have to stop believing that just because we can endure this much that we should, or this is okay, or, as long as you just get by and you just live, that's it. No, like, we should definitely want better for our own. And, like, I've seen the other side of privilege. My family's half white. They're half white Canadians. So, it really is, a whole different thing up there. But being on the other side and having those opportunities, or being a person of color, a Black person that maybe does have this information or does come from a more affluent family, definitely need to learn, like, to educate each other. I learned everything I learned from Budget Nisa, and I went to like every Black friend that I had and was like, do you understand credit? Do you know why? Do you know why this works? Do you know how much money you're supposed to put away? Did you know that you could be a doctor and for the rest of your life, you'll never really get ahead? Did you know that you have to, this has to be more than this? Like, and they're like, no. And I'm like, I will put you on game for free right now if you're willing to listen. Because it doesn't, so it really, like, after we get through, God knows how long, because this is going to happen again. But once we get through this, definitely need to look into our communities, helping each other. I definitely have been trying to limit, shopping excessively, like little things here and there, to Black-owned businesses, supporting my friends who have clothing stores like Rico with the Tribe X by Rico, and some other people, to just be like, hey, this is where our dollars need to go right now, because these corporations have enough.
Absolutely.
Well, all right, thanks, Viv. Thanks for calling in, and please send us those books, because so we can post it on the podcast and share them to our friends and families.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in, Viv. I miss
you. Bye.
Good night.
Man, we.
Whew. It's weird because, girl, I know she looked fine, didn't she? It's weird because, you see and you talk to these people every day. Like, these are friends of ours. These aren't random people that we pick to be on here. But it's just so wild to know that, like, we're all fighting the good fight together.
We're all in this together.
Yeah. But, I expected to be a lot more varying opinions, but everybody's kind of like, nah. Yeah, this ain't it. So the last call, it's going to be my very white husband. Ooh, he's fine. He ain't doing nothing. I was going to say, I'll let him know we're calling, but he's fine. We've been on it for
2 hours.
Hot minute. Let me see.
So it's 2 hours. Jesus. I'm just starving.
Yeah, over 2 hours. Yeah, we've been. Oh wow. Oh, my cousin shared it.
What the comments looking like?
Let's see. Sorry, I'm sorry. When Viv started talking, I was like. Let's see. Yes. Sorry, we have Juan said, my kids are half Haitian. I think about that all the time. I don't want them to experience none of this, but I know they will. Unfortunately, you can't stop that, but my friend Brandon said, I'm writing an ebook and this forum is a gold mine. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Take all the information. We're going to post this, so don't worry. Everyone who wasn't here from the beginning, you're going to be able to listen to this whole thing over again. Gabby said, yes, come through podcast. Yes, Gabby. Juan also said, if you're Puerto Rican, you have a percentage of Black, no matter what you think. That's true. Vanessa said, on period, Viv. Yes, on period. Period, poo. Vic said, that's not taught to anyone except the elite. That's true. Elite as in the private school, high-class people that get access to certain knowledge the poor and minorities don't get access to. Absolutely. Okay, so beautiful. That's on Facebook.
All right.
I was on YouTube, but it's weird. it keeps pausing.
YouTube?
Yeah, like it's here. It's still live, but my comments are. I don't think anyone's popping in the YouTube chat. So I'm here with y'all on Facebook. But yeah, so the last person's gonna be
Vic will be the last person.
Yes, let's call him now. I'm so hungry. I love
starving.
you, Vic, but
Vic,
yeah,
you gotta keep it short because I'm
say Black Lives Matter so we can hang up. No, I'm kidding.
Hello.
Hi, handsome.
Hey, Vic.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. No, not good.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to point out to the racist, whoever the Russian person was who decided they're going to write something in Russian and no one was going to,
what?
Go and translate that. So on your YouTube live, someone wrote like a paragraph in, I guess it was Russian. And I guess they didn't think someone was going to like copy and paste it and to translate and see that it was like some racist shit. Yeah, I had them reported and removed. So.
Dang it! I didn't get a chance to read
it. It said something about like the dead Negro doesn't play basketball or some stupid shit like that. It was something really like it sounded really racist, and I was like, yeah, no, you good. And then I got rid of him.
The dead Negro doesn't play basketball.
What?
Yeah.
Google Translate's trash, so.
Yeah, it was like really weird. I didn't like it, and I was like, nah. You can't be posting stupid shit.
Thank you.
Like
Hold your fellow Europeans accountable. Is it Russia's in Europe, right? Hold your fellow Europeans accountable for their trash comments. Thank you. So
I got rid of them.
So like I stated before, I say very white, not jokingly. If you ever seen him without his shirt on, because he's very white with his shirt on, but he's very tan, and you're like, no, that's regular white people color. No. He's very see-through. You can see all his veins and stuff.
I'm like I have marble skin like a statue.
Yes, very beautiful. Very, very, very Greek statuesque. But yes, my husband is actually very white. So he doesn't look Puerto Rican or Italian, but he is Puerto Rican and Italian.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's only evident in his curly hair. He's Sicilian.
Oh my God! Thank God you cropped out that picture.
Why?
I did. He was in his underwear.
Oh, really?
Yes, I cropped it out.
Oh.
So everybody wouldn't see.
I can't find the text.
Unless you guys want to see my husband's balls, but I guess. Actually, no, not for free. If you want to see my husband's balls, we will make an OnlyFans.
Oh my God!
You can't. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so this is my husband here with a tan. So he's very, very tan here. I'm not joking, but this is what he does all day during quarantine. Playing games about civil rights. No, I'm kidding. He's probably playing Tekken. But yeah, I'm with my husband every single day, every day. Help me, Gil.
Yeah.
And so we have a lot of discussions about race. He's the one I said made a comment about being afraid because our kids would be black, whether or not the police will see it. My son will obviously be black. And it's scary. It's hard to hear someone who is in a position of privilege to say that he's afraid for our child, because up until then, that was a comment that I felt like was reserved for us. I felt that way, obviously, because I'm black and my child would be black. But to hear my privileged husband say that, and I just want to get one thing straight. Every time I tell like my white friends or anything that like they have a privilege, that it's always this argument of like, well, I don't get anything for being white. Privilege doesn't mean that you get anything for being white. It means that you're protected from certain things by being white. And it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means that you're in a position of privilege, not that everything that you have is privilege.
I think
here's the issue with that. So when you tell a white person that they're privileged, they automatically assume that, they're, they would get something for free or, everyone's like bowing down to them. But that's not the thing. When you tell somebody that they're privileged, they're going to get, their ego gets in the way. Like, oh no, I had to grind and do all this just like anybody else. But that's, you may have had to grind, but like, you still didn't have to like, you when you walk in to get a business loan, it's like, oh, well, here comes this black guy. Let's see what the fuck he wants. No, you walked in the bank. It's like, oh, look at this white dude wearing a business suit. I bet he's coming here to start a business. No one's like looking down on you because of the color of your skin. That's the difference between, when you say someone's got privilege. So now my thing is, like, I don't just fear for like our future children. A lot of my good friends are black or like or a minority, and
Vic's
I
not
fear for their
racist. He has
lives.
black friends. No, I'm kidding.
I got I got a lot of black friends. I
Yes.
fear for Gil's life, Aaron's life, Leroy's life. Every time
Your brother,
Carlton, my brother, like Chris, when
father-in-law.
Chris goes to work, like when he comes home late and we're expecting him to walk through the door at 12 and he's not home until like 1 a.m, I get worried that he's not going to come home.
Yeah.
And France, I love France. I love him. He's dark.
Yeah, my dad is
like
unmistakably black. Yes.
Yeah, he can't just be like Chris and be like, oh no, I'm Spanish. I know Chris wouldn't do that, but like, France, like he'd have it really bad. It'd be really bad. I could see like when I see people, like George getting, having their fucking knee on the back of his neck. I could see that, and I could picture that being France. That hurts me. It makes me really scared.
That's my father, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see that being Aaron. I could see that happening to Leroy. If I could see that happening to people that I love, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And when here's the thing, I posted this in the comments, like, there's an issue when the first thing I tell you is like, yo, this person was murdered, and you're like, but, and if you say but, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with the way you're thinking. There should never be a but. If I told you, oh, Leroy walked outside, or Carlton, who I talk to almost every single day, walked outside and he was murdered in front of his house for playing Pokemon Go.
It's wild.
Like, yeah, that like, and you're like, oh, but what was he doing? Like, no, there is no but. There's nothing that somebody did that would warrant them being killed.
I remember playing that Pokemon Go game when it came out, and just me being me, and just walking around town with this game, and it made you go outside. That was the point of this experiment, having people go outside instead of staying home. And I'm walking around, and I'm in this cool neighborhood, I'm in this cool park, and then it's like, wow, I have to stop playing. Because being black, walking around in random neighborhoods to get Lugias, I can't do that. And people,
you have to be alert of your surroundings.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's so weird how I can't just walk around without worrying.
You should be allowed to walk wherever you want and not have to fear for your life.
Yeah.
That's the problem with America. Nobody gets to walk around. No, like only people who get to walk around and not fear for their life are white people. And that's a problem. Like I can walk into any neighborhood and not give a fuck.
I can't do that.
You can't do that.
I've been in photo shoots where I've had my white friends walk around with the cameras, joking around with the people in the property. I come around the corner from my car with my camera, and I'm being told I have to leave the premises because this is a private property and I can't shoot here. And I'm like, but my white friend he's here. You're with him? Like, yeah, actually, this is my shoot. Oh, we're sorry. And this stuff like that happens all the time. And
that gets me really mad. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, it's hard for me to put in words how frustrating it makes me feel, because it just shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't.
But it is.
Yeah.
It's a reality for everyone. Like he said, like I get nervous if my brother comes home a little bit later. My dad told me he was going to a protest today. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, I don't know if my dad's watching the news, but like,
it's kind of rough there.
Yeah. I'm not going to protest because I have to look after my family, because my family, both my parents are immigrants. So my immediate family, is small here. And so I'm not going out to be here for them. And my dad's out here. And I was like, you know what? at the end of the day, he's fighting the good fight so that, you know, when I have kids, my kids will have a better life, and, you know,
Exactly.
and that we'll have some sort of peace, you know. I think, unfortunately, just us being our age now and the kind of traumas we went through, it'd be a whole hell of a lot of therapy before we can go outside and just walk wherever we feel like. So I don't think this is something that's going to be erased in our lifetime. But even if I know that my kids can feel a little bit more comfortable doing some of the things that we have to be conscious and aware about on the regular, like, and it really is frustrating. There's enough things going on in the day for us to have to worry about what we're wearing, how we look. I mean, when we lived in Wilton Manors for a while, and
my God,
I remember thinking, oh, finally, I'm gonna move somewhere where
it's more progressive.
Where that's more progressive, and because these people also face discrimination. And for those that are not aware, Wilton Manors is a predominantly gay city. Well, it's pretty much a gay city.
Yeah. It is a gay city.
It's a gay city. Like everyone, almost everyone is part of the LGBT community. Not everyone, but most of them. But I remember thinking, wow, it's progressive. They also face oppression of some sort. Like, I'm going to feel so comfortable here. Not the case at all. We rented an apartment that was privately owned. 3 months in, I'm getting screamed at that I can't walk my dog there. They didn't care, and I had papers and everything for my dog. I'm like, oh, my dog can absolutely be here. Screaming at me as some white lady, oh, I don't care what papers you have. You can't walk your dog here. You need to go outside of the gate. I've told you before, mind you, the first time ever seeing her. I've told you yesterday when I saw you, you can't do that here. And having to go to the management office to report someone because they're being racist. And the woman who I reported her to was black and was just like, I'm assuming also being watched, saying, I can't say exactly what it is, but kind of being like, wink, wink, just be very careful with the people here because their mindset is not where it should be. And
just, it's weird.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, like, let's put it this way. Can you imagine paying rent to live somewhere, dealing with somebody who is telling you can't live here because of your skin, you can't have your dog, and they don't feel safer because you're black, and you're paying rent to live there? All right, that's fucked up. You'd fight for that right. What about you on Earth being black and somebody telling you can't be here?
That's the ridiculous part. Like, if you look at it on a global scale, we're all human beings. We're all sentient life forms randomly put here. If you believe in science, if you believe in God, we are placed here in the image of God, you know, doing our thing, you know, we get to live and have free will and do whatever the fuck we want. But you know what? You're supposed to be good. You're supposed to be kind. You're supposed to have empathy for everybody. You don't just you're not supposed to pick and choose like who you're going to be nice to. You can't just be like, you know what? I'm white. I feel like I'm better than these people. So I'm just going to systematically, you know, ruin all of their lives forever.
It's wild. Like the mindset of, you know, trying to put other people down just because you feel like your life is better than theirs. Like, I will never understand, like, allowing me to have something isn't going to take away from you. Me getting a home loan is not going to take your home away.
Yeah, but then
let me put this in perspective.
But they'll say that more black people come in the community brings down the value.
Property value, yeah.
That shouldn't be a thing either. But here's the perspective. Even if you're socially better than somebody else, you shouldn't be putting that person down. You should be trying to help them make them become better people.
Yeah.
That's what it should be doing. That's just how it should be. You shouldn't be like, oh, well, I'm at a better social like standing than this person. You know, I'm just gonna let this person, you know, try to figure it out themselves. And you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna let them in the system, you know, do what they're gonna do, and I'm gonna make fun of them and call them like all these names and look down on them because they're using all this assistance. And you know what? It's crazy because, like, you know, Shante said it earlier, you know, there are more white people on these government assistance programs.
Yeah.
And then like these statistics are an issue because it's like, oh yeah, more white people are killed per year by cops than black people. there are more white people in the country than there are black people. That's why black people are a minority.
But they won't talk about the percentage of black to white people being killed. If there's more white people, why is there, why is the rate at which those people are being killed, much higher? Why are you more likely to go to jail for nonviolent offenses for being black than you are for being white?
Yeah. And you know what else? I'm sorry. Go ahead, go.
Elon Musk tweeted this today. He said that he's like, I have a thought, and some people might find it offensive. And he went ahead and tweeted, said, it's crazy how we're in 2020 and weed has become an essential business in certain states, especially during this pandemic. But there are people who are in jail because they sold weed. He's like, that's a huge problem. And Elon Musk said that today.
Well, talking about weed, if you watch, what's the show we watch with Hassan Minhaj, Jess?
Patriot Act.
The Patriot Act. He was talking about that recently, like literally in the last episode, where there is an ex-governor or senator, and he was like, his whole time he was in office, he was really against marijuana. But now that he's not in office, he's all for marijuana. But like, he's capitalizing on it while everybody's still rotting in jail for it.
Yeah.
So now I find the hypocrisy in this to be like plentiful on how now all these states are trying to like capitalize on weed and like these drugs when they were all about, the war against drugs in the 90s and calling, all the black people in the community super predators. They're all out here to get you. They want to, we got to put in the mandatory minimum. And then like, and then now the same people who are doing that to the black communities are trying to be the great saviors of the black community.
You ain't black if you ain't voting for me.
Yeah, fuck Biden.
Yeah.
Also, fuck Hillary. I'll never vote for a Clinton, ever. And I lost a couple of friends because of that. They were like, "Oh, you didn't vote for Hillary. You might as well have voted for Trump." And I was like, "No, I'm just not gonna vote for somebody who like was putting people in prison for no fucking reason, calling people super predators, and making like situations of race even worse in the country."
So Vic, final thought, because we're both starving.
Yeah, I'm also hungry. I've been waiting for Jessica.
How would you being a white man, white man passing, because you're Italian Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Even the people in the BLM movement, we all know that everyone's lives matter. We know that. But right now, it's not everyone that's being systematically rooted out, systematically like killed, put in prison, and all that. It's not everybody. It's black people, and it's really unfortunate. And I don't want to put it blunt like that, but that's how it is.
Yeah.
Now, the people who are like, all lives matter, like, it's because they're getting offended because they feel left out, and that's the ego talking, and that's the problem. White people, anybody who's all about the all lives matter movement, anybody who's like insensitive to the BLM, you need to step aside yourself, put your ego in a box, have some fucking empathy, and look at what's happening to this community, and has been happening to this community for years. And like, it's that people act like it's a problem instead happened yesterday. It's been here for years, and it's not going to be solved overnight. But the thing is, you have to have empathy, and when everyone starts to have empathy and to like try to put themselves in the shoes of others, we'll start to make progress.
Yeah.
And that's the only way it could happen.
Period.
Thanks, Vic. Man, that was dope, man. Really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you for being an ally and a friend, man.
Thank you. I love you. Thanks for being my husband.
I love you guys. I love all my friends. I don't care about race. It's not about race for me. I want everybody to do great. I want everyone to be happy.
All right, Vic.
I love you. I'll see you at home.
All right, love you guys. I'll see you later.
Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Well,
that was good.
That was good.
Thanks, man. I feel guilty just calling all these people. Like, I feel like I want to pay you all that.
Yeah, that was like some easy content.
That
we didn't have to do
good.
anything. Like,
we're just like, hey, now we're calling Viv. And then well, thank you all so much for all your different viewpoints. I loved hearing everyone's take on it, how everyone was feeling. It is a really tough time right now, and even me, it's hard doing these episodes because it's like I don't even know what to say. Like, I really don't know what to say. This isn't new. This isn't a new issue that's been coming up. It's been said over and over again, and I really hope we don't do what we often do and just kind of do it for the gram. You know, I do feel like things have been slowing down a bit, but even driving through my neighborhoods, old neighborhoods and stuff, I've been seeing protests still happening. Obviously, I don't think everyone's gonna have the same energy to like televise it or put it out on social like they were, but definitely please still go out there. There's still petitions going around. There's still memorial funds that need to be, funds need to be given. There's still conversations that need to be had. There's mindsets that need to be changed. And thank you everyone again for your really unique perspectives on everything that's going on right now. I think this episode is important. Not just for content, but I think that you guys really should truly like sit down, listen to everything that all these people are saying. You know, we've had mothers, married couples, single people,
business owners,
and people both, non-POCs, POCs, that are allies. We try to be very careful about who we selected. We know that we don't want to hear just from one type of person, but we really don't. This is not the time for controversy or views or anything. We didn't want to bring anyone on here that was going to say or do anything that was offensive because these are still very sensitive times. But I still feel like we got enough unique perspectives on this episode.
I feel like if your goal is to learn, like watch this episode in its entirety.
Yes.
Like the callers, especially Shantae, dropped a lot of gems. So go back if you're just tuning in now. Like, we're going to end this now, but go back, listen to what Shantae said, listen to what Marvel said, listen to what Khadijah said, Rico, Sean, Viv, Vanessa, and Vic. Like, all these callers had something amazing to say.
Yeah. That was wild.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. I love to do this follow-up. Also, if you guys want to call in or be called in, we're probably going to do another episode when we do the follow-up. Please contact us on our socials. Let us know how you felt about this episode. Was there anything that stuck out to you? Anything that you want to get tattooed on yourself after this episode? And
then don't forget the shirt.
Yes, please. Me and Gil, not just for the episode, we both did order this shirt for real yesterday. And like Rico said, this money is going to go into the fund of your choosing. For sure support Black businesses, but definitely I'm 100% throwing my money at Black businesses that are throwing their money back into the community. Be careful. A lot of people are putting out stuff for clout.
Yes.
And using this opportunity to like slap a BLM sticker on a shirt and sell it. But Rico's doing it for a good cause.
Which
Please
to me is also, I know we're ending, but that's also a form of looting, by the way.
Yeah.
Because you're looting on tragedy. You're taking advantage. We're not for that. We're about educating. We're about putting people together. That's why we're promoting Rico's shirt again, because this is going to a good cause.
Yes. Actually, the shirt is dope.
Yes.
Period.
I got one. Jessica just ordered one. It's on pre-order?
Yeah, it's on pre-order. So I think he's going to be sending him out the 26th.
Okay.
So definitely you'll see us wearing him in the upcoming episode. But yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for listening to this episode of Culture Theory. As usual, you can find us at our socials right down here and at Culture Theory Podcast on IG. Find us on our YouTube channel. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm just going to put his shirt up on the screen so we can walk.
So we can escape. Thank you, guys.